We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Texas is now number one in both polls. The Longhorns are number one in the Associated Press preseason media poll for the first time. And Texas could be the first preseason number one to be an underdog in week one. Ohio State is a 2.5-point favorite over Texas on ESPN Bet. ESPN's Pete Thamel reports Fresno State will open the season with E.J. Warner at quarterback. He's the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Kurt Warner. The Bulldogs open at Kansas on August 23rd. Warner played earlier for Temple and Rice. Giants rookie quarterback Jackson Dart did enough Saturday against the Bills to confirm what ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum already believed.
He played very well, and in speaking to the Giants over the last week, they're thrilled with him every day in the building. I would have given him his playbook in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and say, Jackson, here you go. Be ready on opening day, and never look back.
Mike Tannenbaum. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford sits out practice again today with an aggravated disc in his back.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Tuesday, is Shedeur Sanders already the face of the Browns franchise? And if so, is that a good thing for Cleveland? It's on Sportsman 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. LSU was on the practice field. The Saints lost a preseason game. We'll continue our SEC fall previews. Ton to do, but let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Tigers are back on the practice field on Monday, and Brian Kelly was kind enough to allow the media to watch the entirety of the workout. I shall not bury the lead. Everyone, no doubt, was most concerned with or interested in Garrett Nussmeier. We learned last week that he's dealing with tendonitis in his knee, and all these weird rumors started everywhere. People melted, and ultimately, it was nothing. So went out there, and they started practice at the indoor facility, and we got to watch about 20 minutes or so at the indoor before they went outside. You can go look on any of my social media. I posted a video of Garrett Nussmeier throwing. They were helmets and shoulder pads today. He has a sleeve on his left leg and was not in any way limited. Did everything at practice today. I don't know what else to say. Like, he did everything. Individual team, indoor, outdoor, 11 on 11, red zone, all of it. So Garrett Nussmeier, full go, no limitations whatsoever. That's fantastic news. Really quickly, though, a couple of other, I guess, injury tidbits. Jakeem Jackson, when they were indoors, had a bunch of kinesio tape on the back of his leg. And then when they outdoors, he was just on the exercise bike the rest of the time. So I'm reading into the fact that he had kinesio tape all over the back of his leg, that it was a hamstring. But we'll see what may come of that. And then during a special teams period, Barrion Brown was returning a punt. It was a short punt, dead sprint, caught it on the fly and sprinted up the sideline, which was phenomenal to watch him do that. But Anyway, when he was coming back, he was just limping a little bit, went to the middle of the field, taped his foot over his cleat, and then finished practice. A little hobbled here and there, but not anything that made him miss any of the rest of practice. So those are just some of the tidbits. This was an interesting day because they did a lot of very specialized work. There was like a pooch punting period. There was a period where the offense only worked on screens. They were running against air, but it was the full offense, and they just were running screens. So running backs to tight ends, just screens. They ran an 11-on-11 period where it was a goal-to-go situation, 3rd and 8 for the offense, 2 plays to score. So it was very, very specific today, situational that they were working on. I'll tell you, in all the notes I took, there were 3 really big offensive standouts on this day that would have been impossible for anyone to miss. Trey'Dez Green, Xavier Thomas, Berrien Brown. We've mentioned Berrien Brown a lot throughout fall camp because he's been pretty exceptional. Today was no different. When they were indoors, they did the wide receiver DB drill. We've told you about it before. It's a one-on-one drill. Quarterback in the middle of the field, receiver, defensive back to either side, and they're running a one-on-one route. Trey'Dez beat Harold Perkins twice, so they started at the 40, then they went to the 20, and then they went to the 5, and so everybody got 3 reps. Trey'Dez beat Harold Perkins on the first 2 reps. When they went to the 5, they put him on A.J. Hulsey. Same thing, scored all 3 times. Xavier Thomas was, he beat Mansour Delane 3 times. He was awesome in this drill. And then Berrien Brown, he caught a one-handed touchdown grab over P.J. Woodland, who was yanking his jersey. He had another touchdown on P.J. Woodland in the red zone drill. And then from the 5-yard line, he didn't rep from the 5, but then he did, Berrien Brown, when they went to 7-on-7. Brown scored a touchdown on the back line and would have had a second touchdown, but for PI, and it was, who grabbed him? It was P.J. Woodland. Anyway, so P.J. Woodland is pretty handsy, y'all. Like, he ain't scared. P.J. Woodland ain't scared to yank that jersey to where your shoulder pad's exposed. Woodland has had some nice plays in fall camp, but he was handsy today. They also, when they went 11-on-11, and I'll run through the play-by-play of the 11-on-11, but the first-team offense punctuated their drive with a 28-yard touchdown pass from Nussmeier to Berrien Brown. Brown go route down the right sideline, and he beat Ashton Stamps, and Nuss dropped it in a bucket. It was pretty spectacular. And I don't want to leave Xavier Thomas out because Xavier Thomas was pretty awesome as well. In the 7-on-7, he had 3 receptions, including a touchdown reception in the 7-on-7 where he ran a go route and beat Ashton Stamps. It was a day where those 3 guys were pretty special. Trey'Dez Green when they were indoors doing the wide receiver DB drills. From the 5, he ran a shallow cross. I'm sorry, this was from the 20. He ran a shallow cross, and Perkins was on him, and Nuss threw a fastball, and Trey'Dez, again, coming from left to right. So Nuss in the middle of the field, Trey'Dez on his left, coming across his face. Threw a fastball that, might have gone into the weight room if he had let it go. But Trey'Dez just full extension, and made the reception, which goes to show you, man, the catch radius, the ability, the awareness, the ball skills, it's all there. He was magnificent today. And then in the 7-on-7 period, he caught a seam route right up the middle from the 20. He caught a seam route, did Trey'Dez for a touchdown. He beat Harold Perkins on the seam route there as well. So those 3 guys are pretty awesome. A few other things from the day that may be of note. The kick returners, Aaron Anderson, Xavier Thomas, Berrien Brown, Jelani Watkins, Kyle Parker, and then the 2 running backs, Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson. Those were the ones that were working kick return. Punt return, most of the same guys minus the running backs. All the same guys minus the running backs. Xavier Thomas, Kyle Parker, Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton worked on punt return as well, and Berrien Brown. Penalties were an issue mostly with the second unit when they went 11-on-11. Michael Van Buren had to delay a game. He also had a 25-yard run on a scramble, which was beautiful. It was after a penalty when the twos. This was it. This was the sequence when the twos were doing their scrimmage session. They went delay of game. Jelani Watkins false start. Bauer sharp for 5 yards. So 1st and 20 became 2nd and 15. On 2nd and 15, Van Buren scrambled for 25 yards, zigging and zagging through the defense, which that may be his best attribute right now. And then on 1st down after that, Bauer sharp had a false start. So penalties were a problem today. When they were in the goal line period, Carius Kern false started. He false started twice on Saturday as well in the scrimmage. They pulled him then after his false start today in the goal line situation. They pulled him, replaced him with Tyree Adams, who ran in there at left tackle. So penalties were a problem, but most of that was the second unit and the backups. When the first team went 11 on 11, they went right down the field and scored, as we mentioned, on the Berry and Brown touchdown. The other sort of big takeaway I would tell you from today's practice, and really from Saturday and Monday, practices 9 and 10, we spent so much of the first full week of camp talking about the struggles the offensive line has had blocking the defensive front. And in the scrimmage periods, the team periods on Saturday, the offensive line did not allow a pressure. And in all the plays I charted today, they also, again, did not allow a pressure. And, the feeling that I've shared with you in watching them go out there is when the offensive line wins one-on-ones, it tells you they're talented enough to hold up against these really good pass rushers. But when they've gone team, it's really been weighted toward the defense. Now, some of that is Blake Baker's creativity. A lot of that is just individual ability and the defense being ahead of the offense. What you wanted to see was the 5 offensive linemen begin to act as one and get more continuity. And we saw that these last 2 practices where you just haven't seen the purple wave enveloping the white jerseys, which are the offense. So that was fantastic to see. Of all the plays I charted today during the 11 on 11s, the red zone, the goal line, and the scrimmage periods, there were no pressures, no sacks, and the only negative play that I charted was Bernard Gooden, shocker, had a TFL on Caleb Jackson. And that was in the when they were in the red zone period. It was they were at the 10-yard. The offense was at the 10-yard line, and it was Xavier Thomas had a beautiful catch down the sideline for 15 yards. The offense was at the 10-yard line, and Bernard Gooden had a TFL for a loss of a yard on Caleb Jackson. That was the only negative play that I charted for the offense all day. So a day that was very heavily weighted for the offense, which was great to see because, man, the defense has a lot of talent. They're rotating a bunch of guys, and Blake Baker has a lot of toys in the chest to play with, and it was nice to see the offense kind of have the upper hand on a day after the defense had really, really owned the team periods through the first full week of camp. All right, it is after further review. Next hour, I'll run. I charted all the play-by-play of the 7-on-7s and the team periods. So I'll run through that next hour. But I want to break, and I want to get to Saints Chargers, give you some takeaways from that. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. So drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of your New Orleans Saints. Of course, the Saints played last night. Tigers were less than 3 weeks away now. As we get closer, and you're going to be watching your favorite teams, make sure you got your favorite beer. Plenty of ice cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Friends over at Mockler Beverage, great community partners like they've been for 40 years. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, quick break. Come back. Saints lose their preseason opener to the Chargers. I'll give you my takeaways when we continue on AFR.
After further review.
We are brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. And right now, kind of starting to transition into fall gardening. It is time to start planting your fall vegetable garden. It may not seem like it, but look at the calendar, y'all. We're approaching the middle of August. It's August the 11th. So it's time to start planting that fall vegetable garden. They're getting new shipments of fall vegetable plants, of Johnny Naylor seeds, and if you have ever eaten fresh garden-grown vegetables, you will understand nothing beats that flavor. that sort of farm-to-table or garden-to-table flavor. So, and plus it's a good activity to do with the kids, get you outdoors, the entire family can do it. So, get on by Clegg's Nursery. Time to start planting those fall vegetable gardens. You can buy Johnny Naylor seeds or those vegetable plants. They got them at any of the 4 locations of Clegg's Nursery. So, buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Really good process. I think you focus on the process, make sure we're operating at a really high level, just especially the coaching staff on the headsets, on the sideline, all the communication that goes into this thing. I think a lot of good stuff there. Certainly there's things that we're going to learn and grow from in every aspect of this organization.
Kellen Moore, maybe an understated part of Sunday's preseason game against the Chargers, was coaching his first game as an NFL head coach. It was a preseason game, but that was still his first opportunity to go run the operation on game day. Saints lost 27-13. You'll hear me say it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I do not care about the result of a preseason game. I don't care that they lost 27-13. It is not in any way ever played out or executed or handled like it would on an actual NFL Sunday. Just for example, at the end game scenario where the Saints were just trying to get through the game and then they ran out Charlie Smith for a 50-yard field goal attempt. Like, if that were an NFL Sunday, you're not attempting that field goal, but they wanted to get Charlie Smith an opportunity to get out there and kick a field goal in the game. So, fine. All good. The Browns beat the Panthers 30-10. The Patriots won 48-14 against the Commanders. It doesn't matter. Like, the result of the game, the final score doesn't matter. What I try to glean from preseason is individual performances or position group performances from groups that, A, need work or and experience, like the Saints quarterbacks, or B, guys that are trying to earn a roster spot. Like, that's what I'm looking for when I go watch a Saints preseason game. So I'll give you some of my good and then some of the bad and what I'd like to see moving forward. But the most important thing, and I know Kellen Moore after the game didn't give an update, and as of right now, we still haven't seen an update, but the injuries to Trevor Penning and Will Clapp, and I guess secondarily to Bub Means, are maybe the most significant thing to come out of this game. Penning missed the bulk of his rookie season with an injury he suffered in preseason. And after that, he's been really durable. I mean, Trevor Penning, we forget because he's been maligned because he hasn't played very well, but he's played every game the last 2 seasons. I mean, he's played all 17 games each of the last 2 seasons. He has been in a position group that has not been durable. He has been available. So we'll see. He went off to the sideline, went to the injury tent, came out of the tent, then they carted him to the locker room. Same with Will Clapp and same with Bub Means. Maybe the whole carting them to the locker room is just something that they're doing now in the NFL. I don't know, but both Penning and Clapp clearly had lower leg injuries. Both had their cleats off when they were being carted to the sideline. The Penning one is potentially really damaging because that's your starting left guard, and you finally moved into a position that probably suits him well. And here's hoping he's fine and he's able to go by the time you play Arizona on September the 7th. But if Penning can't go, there's a giant question of what's next. Like, is that Shane Lemieux? Is that Dylan Radins? Who is that's going to play left guard for you if Penning is injured? And similarly, Will Clapp was a virtual lock to make this team. Will Clapp played 2 seasons in L.A. where Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator. And because of his versatility at center and guard and his NFL experience going into his 8th NFL season, Clapp is a virtual lock to make this team if he's healthy. So the most important thing to come out of Sunday is going to be the health of those 2 guys, because those are 2 guys that are going to make your 53-1 as a starter. So let's see where it goes from there. I'll give you some good, and this is probably not the place you thought I was going to start. I thought the Saints are really good on special teams. In the return game, Kendre Miller had a kickoff return for 36 yards. Velus Jones had a kickoff at the end of the game for 46 yards. I thought they were quite good there. Blake Grupe made his lone field goal attempt of 31 yards. Charlie Smith, as we mentioned, made a 50-yarder there at the end of the game. He really struggled with consistency. Both Kai Kroger and James Burnip had 3 punts apiece. Burnip pinned 2 inside the 20-yard line. Kroger averaged 46.3 yards per punt, had a long of 52. You recovered a muffed punt in the first quarter. I thought special teams were good. I know that's not necessarily a thing that you want to lead with, but that was the first big standout that I had. I know we're going to talk a ton about the quarterbacks, and there wasn't much that was inspiring from Spencer Rattler. He lost a fumble on the strip sack. Dylan Radins let the end come around from the right offensive end. So Rattler had the strip sack, but he was 7 of 11 for 53 yards. He protected the football, at least in the air. Both Haener and Shuck threw interceptions. There wasn't a whole lot to inspire confidence, but I loved Tyler Shuck's 2-minute drill before half. And after the game, Kellen Moore had thoughts on that possession, because that was Shuck's first possession. The Saints got the ball right before half with a 2-minute opportunity. They let Shuck go run it, and he came up with a field goal. Here was Kellen Moore. It's number 7.
Not the script you paint that say, hey, your first drive is going to be a 2-minute drive right before half, but just the way the series worked, that's what presented itself. I thought he just did a really good job. Just found completions, handled it really well, understood the situations, when we can use the sideline, when we can take completions, get in field position, even at the end, understanding that situation where we have no timeouts and, hey, we want to get a shot in the end zone, but if it's not there, we got to protect the field goal opportunity. I thought he did a really good job there. They
went 10 plays, 52 yards in a minute 33. They faced a 3rd and 1 where the penalty gave them the first down. And then the only other 3rd down they faced was the 3rd and 5 with 14 seconds left. And Shuck, as you heard Kellen say, they threw it away to protect the field goal opportunity, and Groupie nailed it. So to come up with points there at the end of the first half, when you got the ball, the Saints took over that possession. They took over the possession at with a minute 38 to go in the half, and came away with points. I thought that was really encouraging. I thought, obviously, Tyler Shuck's touchdown pass to Mason Tipton was a beautiful ball, and Mason Tipton got wide open, and Shuck found him. But it was not just the touchdown pass. It was also the response after the pick six. So Shuck throws a pick six, comes right back, boom, the deep touchdown pass to Mason Tipton. This was Shuck talking about coming back after that interception to throw the touchdown pass.
Yeah, I think for me, I was on the sideline just smiling. We were like, hey, man, this is part of it. I'm throwing that 9 times out of 10. It's the exact look we wanted. He made a really good play and jumped it. So we knew we were going to get the ball back and just go drive down the field and score. And everybody was on the same page. So it was good. Stuff like that happens. It was good to go bounce back and let it rip.
I thought there were some good defensive standouts individually. Isaiah Stallbird was all over the field. He had 8 tackles. I like the young linebackers on this team. DeMario's long in the tooth, and Pete Werner's been a really good player but had injury issues. Isaiah Stallbird was really good, and so is Danny Stutzman. We talked about it on Friday. Stutzman didn't practice much in the last practice because they were going to give him a lot of run in this preseason game, and he showed up and ended up with 3 tackles and really flashed all over the field. Christian Boyd, former draft pick, had a sack. I thought Chris Rumph played really well, and this sort of dovetails into one of the bad, which was Isaiah Foskey. Isaiah Foskey played effectively the entire game and did not record a stat. I don't know what else there is to say about Isaiah Foskey at this point. We've all said it. He's a second-round pick. He's a bust. You used a top 50 pick on Isaiah Foskey, and he just can't impact the game. It's another bust when you drafted an edge rusher. Throw it in there with Marcus Davenport and with Peyton Turner. You used a pick that you would typically expect to get a starter out of that pick, and you can't even get a contributor. This is a guy in Isaiah Foskey that I don't think makes the roster, especially if you have a guy like Chris Rumph, who, remember, has that experience with Brandon Staley in L.A., and I thought Chris Rumph was really good in this game. He came away with 3 tackles. He had a sack in the ball game as well. He had a quarterback hit and a TFL. So if Rumph keeps playing that way, that's a better rotational piece than Foskey, who's only hanging around because you used a draft pick on him. I thought that. So those guys, I thought defensively played really, really well. And how about Kendre Miller? The disappointment was the stuff at the goal line. That was hardly his fault. But Kendre Miller, when healthy, is kind of showing you what he's capable of. Now, can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the field? Kendre had 6 carries for 15 yards. That's not going to pop, no doubt. But he did also have the kickoff return, which I mentioned, for 36 yards. And there were times where he looked fast and active and strong and powerful. And as a number 2 behind Alvin Kamara, I like that a good bit, if he can stay on the field and prove to be a valuable asset. The bad, after the muffed punt, you took over at their 17 and came away with no points. I have no problem whatsoever with the decision that the Saints made to go for it. I mean, look, it's a preseason game. You took over at their 17-yard line, and Kendre got 8 yards on first down. It's 2nd and 2 from the 9. Kendre Miller ran for 4 yards to get a first and goal at the 5, and then you went backwards. Rattler was sacked. Rattler scrambled for a yard, and you went for it on 4th and goal, and Miller got blown up for a loss of 3 yards. That sucks. Your offensive line has to be better, and at that point, you had your starting offensive line in. Now, Clapp was out after just the second play, so you had Torricelli Simpkins in there, the rookie out of South Carolina at center, but the rest of that line was your starting offensive line. And you had 4th and goal at the 1. Give me a yard. That was disappointing. If I go through the other things that are disappointing outside of Foskey and that red zone stuff, again, you had 4 offensive line starters playing in this game. You sat McCoy, but the other 4 guys, your other 4 starters were all in there. And it was not good. So you've invested so much draft capital with 4 first-round picks into that offensive line. they've got to be good, and they got to be better than they were on Sunday. Maybe they can. Kelvin Banks, first action ever. Fuaga, who, by the way, was your highest-rated player on PFF, is that right tackle. You lost Clapp, then you lost Trevor Penning due to injury. So I don't want to overreact to this, but that unit wasn't good a year ago, and I and lots of us blamed the injuries, but clearly it's more than that, and that unit's got to get better. We talked about Shuck's interception. Hayner's interception was absolutely awful out in the flat. And then DJU comes off the bench and spins a 49-yard dime, and then Rocket Sanders is in the end zone the next play. But the two guys covering on that play are two guys that very likely aren't even going to make the roster. I'm trying to get, if you'll forgive me, I chart numbers a lot instead of let's see. It was 35 and 37 who were on the coverage. Forgive me, I'm trying to get it. It was that was it. It was Dallas Beanham and who's 35? Sorry. It really doesn't matter. But anyway, it was Dallas Beanham and I can't find it. A guy that's not going to make the team. So whatever. Elliott Davison. Sorry, that was it. Dallas Beanham and Elliott Davison got burned deep on that one. So again, I don't want to overreact to that because those are guys that aren't going to make this team. But it was a pretty ugly play. So when you look at what's next, the Saints will stay out in L.A. Kellen Moore did say they're going to try to work out, do some joint practices with the Rams while they're out there in L.A., which would be great. I think you get a lot of value out of that, maybe even more so than a preseason game. I'm curious to see if Tyler Shuck will get the start in the next preseason game. The next preseason game, by the way, is at home against Jacksonville. I want to see if these young defenders can continue to play well like some of them did. I want to see if the offensive line can play better. And I'm not going to overreact to the result of the first preseason game, but definitely want to see the offensive line perform better. And you hope to see more out of Spencer Rattler if he's going to be the guy. And if not, maybe Tyler Shuck can make that move and ultimately be the game one star. He's got a couple of weeks to see if he can figure that out. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. The selection, y'all, the selection is what sets them apart. And, of course, just because driving Volkswagens are fun and they're great people to deal with over at South Point Volkswagen. You always get great deals, $299 a month on a 36-month lease right now on 2025 Tiguan S. You can check them out at South Point Volkswagen, Airline just north of Highland, or SouthPointVW.com. Remember, because they move more inventory than anyone, they can give you a better deal than anyone over at South Point Volkswagen. Don't forget about their certified pre-owned as well at SouthPointVW.com. Not just Volkswagens, all makes and models on their certified pre-owns at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on this Monday edition presented by Relief Windows. A lot to do. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. I will circle back in about 28 minutes to the LSU practice report and give you the full squad play-by-play, the 7-on-7 and the 11-on-11 periods. We will go through the Saints' PFF grades from the preseason opener there against the Chargers. 1 hour from right now, we'll continue our SEC fall preview series. We're looking at all of LSU's opponents, and so we're going in order. Today is Vandy, so our buddy Chris Lee from VandySports.com will be here in exactly 1 hour. So a ton to do, and glad you're hanging out with us here on this Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Don't go it alone. Don't go it alone. Don't accept a quick check from the insurance company. Get Gordon and get it done. Let Gordon and his team go to work for you to make sure that you get exactly what you deserve so that you can get back to your life. GetGordon.com, GetGordon.com. That's the website, GetGordon.com, if you want to start right there. It's a great way. Listen, there's a lot of different ways. There's a chat box on the homepage if you want to text or chat with one of their associates. You can always call 888-8888, 888-8888. The call now button is on the homepage as well, 888-8888. Or you can always go to the website and check out past client testimonials. You can learn more about the many ways that Gordon gives back to the community through GordonGives.com. There's a Gordon Gives tab right there on the homepage as well. Whatever you do, if you've been injured, you know what to do. Go to GetGordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And oh, we do shutters too.
Preseason Top 25 Associated Press poll was released today, and you shouldn't give a rip about it. I know. When the polls were used as part of the BCS formula, it mattered. It mattered very much because, that was part of the formula. So whether it was the AP poll and the coaches poll after the 03 split with when the AP awarded Southern Cal the national championship when LSU won the BCS, the AP said, stop using our poll. We don't want to be part of your game anymore. But they continue to produce a poll. It doesn't matter at all because this isn't part of anybody's formula, the AP or the coaches poll. It's nice to put the little number next to your name, and if some of the self-important goons in the hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas arguing over things like defensive efficiency and game control consider rankings or ranked wins or anything like that, okay. But I was interacting on Twitter with our SEC writer and social media guy, Chris Marler, and he was trying to prop up South Carolina for their 4 ranked wins last year. I'm like, are you really trying to sell me on wins over a ranked Vanderbilt team, a ranked Missouri team? What are you, a ranked Texas A&M team that finished with 5 losses? What are you actually trying, what does that mean for anything? So, in every year, there's a team in the preseason top 10 that finishes the season unranked. Do you realize Florida State, which went 2-10 last year, in the preseason top 25 was number 10 in the country? Say that again slowly in case you missed it. Florida State, which finished 2-10 last year, was the preseason number 10 team in the country. Like, all of this is based on brand recognition, logos, groupthink. It's just not very important. Texas is preseason number 1 in the country in the AP for the first time ever, like in their program's history. And they're an underdog week 1 at Ohio State. Go figure. In case you do care about this, Texas 1, Penn State 2, Ohio State 3, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, LSU at 9, Miami 10. That's your top 10 right there. The other SEC schools, South Carolina at 13, Florida at 15, Oklahoma at 18, despite the fact that they were a 500 team a season ago. I guess all of a sudden they're going to be ranked just because they're Oklahoma. A&M at 19 because, of course, they are. And then Ole Miss 21 and Tennessee 24. That's your preseason top 25 with the SEC teams in it. So if you want to prop up that sort of thing, LSU-Clemson will be a preseason top 10 matchup. LSU's number 9, Clemson's number 4. So on the marquee, it'll look prettier, but there's your preseason AP top 25. All right, we're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. I tell you that every day because it's important, because they even guarantee it. They have the price match guarantee. So if you buy tires at Shaw Bills and you find those same tires advertised somewhere cheaper, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. So if you buy tires at Shaw Bills and then you find those tires cheaper somewhere else, you're actually gonna end up making money. That's not bad. It's at Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Florida Gators.
Billy Napier Monday provided an update on DJ Lagway, who's still battling back from a calf injury. That's after he was battling back from a shoulder injury that kept him out of spring. Napier said that Lagway is on schedule, but still working through the calf injury. Did not play in Saturday's scrimmage. Tramel Jones has been getting the first team reps when Lagway isn't available.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Wide receiver Chris Brazzell was arrested on charges of driving with a suspended license. That's per the Knoxville News Sentinel. It was also speeding, and Brazzell is expected in court on August the 20th. He was driving 60 in a 35. Hate to say I've probably done that a time or two in my life as well with a lead foot. He's top returning receiver for the Vols, which is why this is important. 29 catches for 333 yards last season. So in a position group that doesn't have a lot of returning experience, this was their top most experienced guy, and now in a little bit of trouble with the law.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn tight end Hollis Davidson was arrested on a felony drug charge in his home state of Georgia at the end of last month, but it's just now becoming public. It was actually back on June 19th whenever this took place. He was arrested on July 26th. He was, charged and arrested back on July the 26th. It was one of several arrests involving Auburn football players who have violated team rules in the past couple of weeks. Linebacker D'Angelo Barber and wide receiver Malcolm Simmons were also arrested in July.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And Carolina's agreed to place on-field advertisements at Williams-Brice Stadium. They're partnering with Blanchard Machinery, which is headquartered in Columbia. It's a 5-year partnership. No word on the terms, but it'll be Blanchard's cat logo and the Blanchard rental logo. And it's also Williams-Brice scheduled to have premium seating options scheduled for completion in 2027. But the first that we know of, with the new policy allowing on-field advertisements in the SEC, South Carolina is going to do it at Williams-Brice. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. As we always tell you, our Monday shows are presented by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do shutters as well. It's Relief Windows. and reliefwindows.com. I know there's a lot of people who push back on the advertisements on the field, but did you ever see Major League 2? Did either of you ever see the movie Major League 2? Alondra, Paul? No, yes, maybe?
I saw it.
You saw Major League 2?
Mm-hmm.
You know, whenever
Long time ago, but I saw it.
You know when they come out of the dugout and they're like looking at the outfield wall and there's like advertisements all over the wall and they're like, what in the hell is this? And you look at that now and you're like, well, that's just what it is. Eventually it all just fades in the background. Like you just become conditioned to seeing it. Like you look at the outfield wall at Alec Box Stadium. There's ads all over the outfield wall because of course there is. And there are football fields that currently have ads on them. For example, like Boise's field is named after Albertsons. The Kentucky is it Kroger Field?
That sounds right.
But I mean, like they have those logos on there. I mean, the LSU basketball court had a Cox logo on it, Cox Communications. I mean, we make a big deal of things until we don't. And people are resistant to change. But what this illustrates is the need for new revenue streams. And I know it's something that we talk a lot about here, maybe to the point where we talk about it more than most, and maybe you don't care. But the bottom line is you can't compete to win if you can't compete financially. And that's for facilities and coaches and now NIL and rev share. Well, to be competitive there, you've got to find $20 million somewhere in your budget, and that's going to be increasing revenue and decreasing expenses. So you're going to see a lot of behaviors that map to that. How are they going to decrease expenses and increase revenue? Well, these endorsements or advertisements like this are going to be part of increasing revenue. So it's going to happen for everybody. Like, get used to the idea because it's coming. Whether they drag you kicking and screaming, it's going to happen for everybody. And South Carolina's taking the first step. Okay, y'all. It's AFR. We'll knock out a quick break. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Again, we will go through. I'll run through the play-by-play of LSU's football practice, the 11-on-11 periods. We'll do that in about 15 minutes from right now. When we come back, a massive, massive deal for the future of sports on television. We'll talk about it next on AFR.
AFR.
River City's 1 hour air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. And we were out at LSU practice today. It was 83 degrees. Like, it actually felt kind of nice. It was cloud cover. It was 83. We were standing a little bit in the shade. I mean, it felt like maybe it was October the 11th. And now it's 93 and sunny at 3:47 in the afternoon. And the heat index is probably 105 because that's what we live with here. And the bottom line is, if you get home and there's an issue with your AC, do not sleep in a hot house. Don't do it. Call River City's 1 hour air. But Matt, if I get home at 5:30, yes, they'll come out to your house. River City's 1 hour air will come out nights, holidays, weekends. Remember, 752-0001, 752-0001. Just call that number, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. It's River City's 1 hour air, 752-0001.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Hey, Alonzo, pretty soon, Bo and I aren't going to be texting you on Saturday nights for your pirate stream link for UFC fights.
I'm also not going to have pop-ups and possible viruses on my computer anymore, so that's great.
The UFC and Paramount have reached a 7-year deal, $1.1 billion per year, so $7.7 billion for the total package over the 7 years. The most significant part of this deal, moving from ESPN to Paramount, and so all of the UFC content will be on Paramount and CBS. So some of the fight nights, for example, may simulcast on CBS. But as of now, the UFC operated on a pay-per-view model for years. And then whenever they did their TV deal or their deal with ESPN, everything moved behind the ESPN Plus paywall, where if you had ESPN Plus, you could watch everything except their marquee events were still pay-per-view. So you had to have ESPN Plus, and then you could buy the pay-per-view. Well, this is eliminating the pay-per-view model. If you have Paramount Plus for $12.99 a year, you will be able to watch every UFC event. So all of the quote-unquote pay-per-views, the marquee events that were behind the pay-per-view paywall before are now only on Paramount Plus. So $12.99 a month, it's roughly $150 for the year. So for $150 for the year, you can watch every single UFC event. I, as a UFC fan, am really excited about that. I'm sure you are as well. Would you pay the $150?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way
better than buying a bunch of pay-per-views.
I would argue that there have been a lot of times that I would have watched. I would have been more willing to watch UFC events that I just wasn't gonna spend for the pay-per-view. There's probably, I would say, and I'm a UFC fan. Like, I'll watch the pre and the prelims on ESPN Plus and then ESPN, and then a lot of times I won't watch the main card because it's on pay-per-view, or I'd find a illegal stream link or something, a pirate stream.
Yeah.
Which I don't care. I mean, it's just what it is. I probably bought 2 or 3 a year. The really, really big cards during football season, I can't watch any UFC because my Saturdays are college football. So really, for half the year, I'd say maybe there's 2 or 3 that I would buy, and now I'll get to watch all of them, which is amazing. I mean, it's a great deal, and I think this is just further illustrating where our entertainment is going. I mean, it's all on streaming services. If you're not a cord cutter yet, you will be. We all will be. And this is just another iteration of that. Moving away from the pay-per-view model, I think, is fantastic. So I'm fired up for it. And I hope Sunday Ticket moving to ESPN is, or the NFL Network and Red Zone moving to ESPN is going to be a benefit of to all of us and consumers. So we'll see. I think it's an exciting time. The only sports league that doesn't seem to get it is Major League Baseball, which continues to make it impossible to watch your favorite teams. Like, I'm a Yankee fan. I have the MLB app that I pay for. When the Yankees play the Rangers and the Astros, I can't watch them. Despite paying for their service, I can't watch my favorite team when they play in Texas because I'm blacked out in the local market, which is, in 2025, fundamentally absurd. So figure it out, baseball. It's why you suck. I love you, but it's why you suck. All right, it's after further review. We're putting a button here on hour number 1. When we come back, I'll run through. We'll head back out to the Ponderosa. LSU practiced for about 2 hours today. They started indoors, went outdoors. If you missed it at the start of the show, I gave you my takeaways from practice. When we come back after SportsCenter, I'll run through the play-by-play sequencing for the 7-on-7 periods and the 3 different 11-on-11 periods that LSU went through when they worked outdoors on Monday. So we'll get to all of that. Saints PFF grades from the opener against the Chargers. Chris Lee from VandySports.com. Ross Jackson in an hour. Ton to do, and we're glad you're here. Hour number 2 of AFR is next.
AFR.
Drink Evermore, EVA-MOR, Evermore.com. And yes, this is a great time to drink Evermore. EVA-MOR, Evermore.com. It is hot outside. You've got to make sure you stay hydrated. As I look here on my tablet at the thermostat in the bottom, it literally just says very hot weather. So you want to stay hydrated. Of course, you can drink a great Louisiana product. It's better tasting. I challenge you. Grab a bottle of Evermore. Drink it side by side with whatever bottled water you usually get. Or grab one of those other bottled waters and look at the label and see where it says things like such and such added for flavor. Minerals or electrolytes added for... You're not drinking a natural product. You're drinking things with artificial things added to it or taken away from it. This is from a natural artesian well right into the bottle. It's a better form of hydration. It's a healthier option for you and your family. It's Evermore. EVA-MOR, available at great local retailers.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Texas Longhorns open the season as the #1 team for the first time in the Associated Press media poll. It's the closest vote since 1998. Texas is #1 by 5 points over Penn State. Ohio State is third. The Longhorns and Buckeyes play the season opener in Columbus. On the first full weekend of the NFL preseason, quarterback Caleb Williams did not get on the field for the Bears. ESPN's Dan Graziano believes this is a foundational season for Williams.
They have a very good roster around him. That may be, if he comes quickly, that may be something that could propel them into contention. But I don't think contention for the playoffs is necessary for the Bears to call this year a success for Caleb Williams.
Dan Graziano on Joe and Q. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Eagles offensive lineman Landon Dickerson will have a minor procedure for a meniscus injury to his right knee. Dickerson hopes to be back in time for the season opener. The Twins activate outfielder Byron Buxton from the injured list. He had been out with inflammation in his rib cage.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen coming up Tuesday. Is Shedeur Sanders already the face of the Browns franchise? And if so, is that a good thing for Cleveland? It's on Sports with 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt. Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. We will continue our SEC fall previews in 30 minutes. Chris Lee, VandySports.com. If you haven't figured it out, we're going in order of LSU's SEC opponents. So we did South Carolina on Friday, Vandy today, and we'll continue as such. So glad to have you hanging out with us here. And Ross Jackson in 1 hour. Ross is out in Inglewood with the New Orleans Saints. Was there at Inglewood at SoFi Stadium yesterday for the game. We'll see if we can get an update on Saints practice opportunity, game recap, Saints practice opportunities this week if they do, in fact, work on joint practices with the Rams, and what else we can expect while the Saints are out west before they bring it on home. Saints will play the Jags this coming Sunday at the Dome in their first preseason game at home. So a lot to get to here, and glad to have you hanging out with us. LSU is back on the practice field Monday. There had been some speculation that given the Garrett Nussmeier rumors of a week ago that the media might be a shutout of practice the rest of the way. Not the case. Brian Kelly opened up practice on Sunday for the entirety of practice. Today, Monday, the entirety of practice. Tuesday, we only get to watch probably about the last 30 to 45 minutes of practice, but I'm actually okay with that because that's typically when we see the 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 team scrimmage periods, which I'd rather see that than the individual drills anyway. So I feel like we might be able to glean a little more from that. Let me take this time, if I could, to run through the play-by-play of the team periods. and I don't mean for this just to be me regurgitating my notes, but my hope in doing this is an illustration for you of how many different people they're getting involved offensively and who is making plays at times defensively. So the first 11-on-11 period, they were outside. They started at the 20-yard line, and they were running 1st and 10. So every play, this was situational, every play was a 1st and 10. But regardless of the result of the play, they advanced the ball 10 yards. So the first play was 1st and 10 from the 20. Then it was 1st and 10 from the 30. Then 1st and 10 from the 40. Get it? So on. So the first team ran 8 plays, naturally. Then the twos went out and ran 8 plays. And then they went in, and then they went to a 7-on-7. So we'll get to that in a bit. So this was the 8 plays from the first team offense against the first team defense. The other thing that was really, I think, important to note is how much they continue rotating defensively. As a matter of fact, before I get into this, I asked Blake Baker today about the rotation. This is 13, Alondra. I asked him about rotations because, like, for example, in this period I'm about to tell you about, A.J. Halsey and Tamarcus Cooley were the starting safeties. When they went 7-on-7 and the ones went out there, Javen Toviano and Halsey were the starting safeties, but the linebackers with the ones were Devon Keys and Tylen Singleton. Now, nobody thinks Devon Keys and Tylen Singleton are going to start over West and Weeks when they play Clemson, but it just goes to show you, like, they are rotating so fluidly. When they went red zone, by the way, and this was an 11-on-11 team period in the red zone, it was back to Halsey and Cooley as the starting safeties. All that to say, they are rotating all over the defense so fluidly. And so I asked Blake Baker, is this like because you still don't know who's starting, or are you just trying to get a lot of guys different reps and a lot of different looks?
It's a combination of both. That's a really good question. Like right now, how many times do we have the same 11 guys on the field throughout a practice? It's probably pretty rare if you want to sit there and chart it. Again, part of it is to evaluate him as a starter. Part of him to evaluate is to see, okay, when this guy gets thrown in with the other, quote-unquote ones, how does he respond? Some guys elevate their game, some guys don't. And then again, there is a lot of positions that are genuine, and this is not coach speak, that are genuinely up in the air right now. And that's a positive. It just speaks to the quality of depth that we have. But across the board, I mean, to sit here and say, I would say there's very few bona fide starters that I'm going to say, okay, this guy on the 30th is going to be the first one out there. And that's a good problem to have. It's competitive depth. I've been so impressed with how all these guys are working together, too.
By the way, I completely agree with it. I mean, this much, take it to the bank. Harold Perkins is going to be your starting star, and Whit Weeks is going to be one of your starting backers. And probably West. Like, West and Whit are probably going to be the 2 starters at linebacker. Perkins is going to be at star. I could believe anything else. Like, I think Stamps and Mansour Delane are going to be your starting corners. But if you told me PJ Woodland was out there, or DJ Pickett over the next 2 weeks plays really well and wins a job, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Cooley and Halsey are going to be your starters at safety, but it may be Halsey and Jordan Gilbert because they want a 5th-year guy out there on the, like, same thing on the defensive line. Bernard Gooden's been great, but we've seen Ahmad Bro and Dom McKinley as your starters at tackle, and we've seen times when it's Guillory and Bro, or any different Bernard Gooden and Guillory, or any different combination. So I just think whoever takes the first snap defensively, it's just not going to matter because they are going to rotate a ton of guys defensively. It's just very evident. As he said, there's quality depth and they're rotating. Like, I think part of what he said is, like, if you chart it, there's probably not many times you have the same 11 guys on the field at the same time. I've given up trying to chart that because it's impossible, because it's true. Like, it's just so fluid who's out there at any given time. It's impossible to differentiate ones and twos because there's probably 30 guys defensively that are all going to play and could be on the field at any moment in any given formation. Okay. So here's 11-on-11s. Again, they start at the 20. So, 80 yards of field ahead of them, playing only 1st and 10s. First down, Trey'Dez Green, 15 yards. Trey'Dez was a star on Monday. Second play, Caden Durham, a 2-yard run. Third play, Garrett Nussmeier, good coverage, scrambles for 4 yards. I'm telling you, You don't need to buy it. You can wait and see it. I'm just telling you he's a more willing runner. I'm not telling you he's going to run for 500 yards, 1,000 yards. I'm just telling you he's a more willing runner. It is so obvious. It's one of the biggest differences year to year that you can see with Garrett. The fourth play, they run a screen to Kyle Parker for 5 yards. Then they run a swing pass to Caleb Jackson for 2 yards. The sixth play, Kyle Parker again for 9 yards. Then the seventh play was a big sideline route to Xavier Thomas for 15 yards. And the 10th play, the last play, this was the one negative play the defense generated. Bernard Gooden, shocker, hits Caleb Jackson for a loss of 1. That was at the 10-yard line. So when they kept progressing the ball, so it was first and goal from the 10, and Caleb Jackson got a handoff, and Bernard Gooden broke in there and hit him in the backfield. By the way, Blake Baker was asked about Bernard Gooden specifically, and it's so interesting because it's very validating because Blake Baker confirmed a lot of what we have said about this defense throughout fall camp.
Bernard Gooden has been a joy in every sense of the word to coach. He is high energy. Y'all probably hear him more than anyone on the field. But in today's game, you even look in the NFL, there's not many, a lot of really, really successful defensive tackles are going to be between 280 and 305 pounds. The thing that he does really well, because he is so twitchy and has such good get-off, his second foot's in the ground before the offensive lineman. So even though he might be giving up 30 pounds, he's able to get leverage and get power, and the offensive lineman doesn't have his second foot in the ground. So, one of the things that we did through the evaluation process, obviously being an undersized guy, is really evaluate him hard against the run, and we really liked what we saw, and we really, really like what we see up to this point. He's done a great job creating havoc and holding point.
So that was the last play for the ones. The twos go out there, same sequence. They get 8 snaps of 1st and 10, advancing the ball 10 yards every time, no matter the result. First play, Michael Van Buren throws one low. It's a screen pass intended for Harlem Berry. He throws it low. It's incomplete. Second play, Harlem Berry gets a carry, no gain. Patrick Payton on the stop. Third play, intended for Destin Hill. P.J. Woodland in coverage, incomplete. Fourth play, short gain by Harlem Berry. Tackle made by Tylen Singleton. Fifth play, they run a screen to Juwan Johnson. He gets 8 yards up the sideline. They go back to Juwan Johnson with a handoff the next play, and he carries it for a short gain. The seventh play, they ran a shallow cross to Giovanni Peterson, the tight end. He dropped it. That was the one big drop of the day. And on the 8th play, this was again from the 10-yard line, it was a handoff to Juwan Johnson, who got a 10-yard rushing touchdown off the right side. That's another thing we probably should have focused on more. We're talking about takeaways. Juwan Johnson is exclusively playing running back now. With J.T. Lindsey's arrest, his indefinite suspension, when they go individual, Juwan Johnson's going with the running backs. So he is exclusively right now playing a running back, not taking any quarterback reps. Now, he's doing wildcat quarterback, but when they go individual, he's with the running backs, which is exactly what he was doing a year ago after the John Emery injury. All right, let me knock out a quick break so I stay on time. I'm going to come back. I'll run through the 7-on-7, the goal line series, and the 11-on-11 scrimmage. When we return, it's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance, 2 amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark voted by you the best hotel in the best of 225. And one of the things I really want you to remember, especially with a lot of really cool events coming up in Baton Rouge, the event formerly known as Best Dress Ball is coming up. If you're going to be at an event in downtown Baton Rouge, make plans to stay in downtown Baton Rouge. Book your room at Watermark Baton Rouge. It's walking distance to the River Center. So if you want to maybe have dinner or a cocktail at the Watermark lobby bar and then walk to your event, you don't have to worry about getting a ride or an Uber or driving home. You can walk safely back to the Watermark and enjoy downtown Baton Rouge. Maybe wake up on Sunday, have Sunday brunch there at the Gregory inside the Watermark. So many great ways to have sort of a staycation in Baton Rouge and enjoy downtown Baton Rouge at the Watermark Hotel. It's Watermark Baton Rouge. Remember, for football season as well, Watermark Baton Rouge.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
We'll head up to Nashville in about 15 minutes. Talk to our buddy Chris Lee from VandySports.com. We'll continue our SEC fall preview series, taking a look at each of LSU's 8 SEC opponents. We started this last week, so we'll do we did the first 3 last week with Florida, Ole Miss, and Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina. We'll pick up today with Vandy. We'll get Vandy, A&M, Alabama, Arkansas, and Oklahoma as we move throughout this week. We're kind of going through the team periods from LSU's practice on Monday. Just in the last segment, kind of gave you the blow-by-blow with reaction, Blake Baker's reaction to the 11-on-11. The Tigers went 7-on-7, and Garrett Nussmeier only saw 3 snaps, and largely because they were effective, and so you saw the backups. And then they went red zone. And you're going to see a pretty big disparity when they went red zone 7-on-7 and goal line 11-on-11, because the offense was awesome in red zone 7-on-7, and the defense won the goal line periods. We'll get to that. So Nuss's first 2 plays, complete to Trey'Dez Green, and then a deep ball touchdown to Xavier Thomas, who beat Ashton Stamps. And it was like, okay, take a bow. Van Buren's in. Van Buren had a quarterback run on his first play. He had Nick Anderson deep, didn't see him, took off for a short run. Then he threw wide to Aaron Anderson over the middle, who was open. And then on his third play, this has been the conundrum of Michael Van Buren. Aaron Anderson's open over the middle. He misses him wide. The very next play, Xavier Thomas finds a soft spot in the zone, and Michael Van Buren threads it among 3 defenders and hits Xavier Thomas right in the 0 for a nice gain. Like, Van Buren has some of those plays in there, but the consistent inaccuracy is a major problem at this point. Nuss goes back in for 1 play. It's great coverage. He throws the ball away. And again, Brian Kelly has said it. What they want from Nuss is make your worst play 0. Don't force it. Don't throw into trouble. Make your worst play 0. So you are seeing Nuss will take his shots, and he'll thread the needle, but when it's not there, he's throwing it away. He's taking a 4-yard run. Like, those are the things that he said he wants to work on. He's showing in practice. Will he do it when the lights are bright? We'll see. Colin Hurley goes in, completed ball to Teron Francis. Then an incomplete pass intended for Nick Anderson with Michael Turner in coverage. The next ball was completed to Xavier Thomas over the middle. It was behind him. Thomas made a beautiful adjustment to the ball to catch it. And then Colin Hurley threw one behind Kylan Billiot, incomplete again. That's Michael Van Buren and Colin Hurley have ability. It's obvious. Their inaccuracy is just a giant problem right now. So that was the 7-on-7 period from about the 40-yard line. They continued 7-on-7 in the red zone. So they moved the ball inside the 20, and they're still running 7-on-7. And the offense owned this period. First down, touchdown, Berrien Brown, back line of the end zone. Second play, gorgeous route by Tradez Green right up the seam. The ball was on the right hash. Tradez is on the left hash, right up the seam. Nuss finds him. Tradez beats Harold Perkins for the touchdown. And I'm telling you, Xavier Thomas, Berrien Brown, Tradez Green were massive standouts on Monday. And afterwards, Blake Baker was asked, what's it like for your defense trying to defend against Tradez Green?
Yeah, Tradez he's an unbelievable athlete. He's got the ability to flex out like a receiver and be a mismatch. And then he's physical in the run game. The one thing, especially, he's a highly touted basketball player that doesn't necessarily translate to physicality. Tradez will throw it in there. So he provides a problem. The other thing he provides a problem with, you don't know, depending on what personnel, they can line up in a lot of different formations. So he's a mismatch. And I think Coach Sloan and that offensive staff does a really, really nice job of trying to put him in advantageous situations.
So Tradez gets the touchdown on the seam route. The third play, they tried a little dump pass to Juwan Johnson. Whit Weeks was right there, knocked the ball right, reached around, knocked the ball right into the ground. Bauer Sharp reception in the flat for a short gain. They go into the end zone for Berrien Brown, right corner. Would have been a touchdown. P.J. Woodland just mauled Berrien Brown. So would have been a pass interference in the end zone. That was the last play for the ones. The twos go in this time. Colin Hurley went in, incomplete over the middle, intended for Jelani Watkins. He sailed it, and then he had Phillip Wright, the same seam route that Tradez scored on, had Phillip Wright open on the seam and sailed it again. So, not a banner day throwing the football today for Colin Hurley. Again, the ability is undeniable. You can see it there. The accuracy is a problem, and he's got to get it. And then Michael Turner was they put Michael Van Buren in. Michael Turner was holding on Aaron Anderson. So the offense in that red zone period, 7-on-7, was pretty dominant. Now they go 11-on-11, and they set up a situation. It's 3rd and goal from the 8. So you got 2 plays. The offense has 2. It's 3rd and goal from the 8. The offense has 2 plays. They went 1s and then 2s. First down. They throw a jump ball for Tradez Green, and DJ Pickett read it beautifully. By the way, when you have a 6'5" corner, he can kind of hang a little bit physically with Tradez Green, and Pickett knocked it away to force the incompletion. Beautiful coverage by DJ Pickett on Tradez Green. Maybe the only play Tradez Green didn't make all day. So now it's 4th and goal from the 8, and it's intended for Chris Hilton, back right corner of the end zone. Mansour Delane draped all over him, undercuts the route, and Mansour Delane would have had an interception, but Chris Hilton turned into a defender and was able to knock the ball away. But again, a great defensive play there by both Pickett on the left side and then Delane on the right side. So the 2s go in, same situation, 3rd and 8. Bauer Sharp false start on the first snap. Then they've got an incomplete pass for Destin Hill. P.J. Woodland on the coverage. Now it's 4th and 8. They didn't move him back after the Sharp false start. So it's 4th and goal from the 8. This time, Karius Kern false starts, and they pull him out. On Saturday, Karius Kern false started twice in team periods. They took him out, moved Ori Williams to left tackle. Same thing here. They took him out after the false start. They put Tyree Adams in his place. And P.J. Woodland came up with another pass breakup, this time on Tradez Green as well, for a jump ball. 4 plays by the offense, they gained 0 yards. So that 11-on-11 goal line sequence, the LSU defense was incredible. So the offense won the 7-on-7s, the defense won the 11-on-11. Then they wrapped up practice with their scrimmage period. And this is what they basically how they finished every practice, where the offense gets to go put together a drive. And there's yard markers, there's down and distance, penalties, refs, all the stuff. It's just you're starting at this instance, they start at their own 40. So 60 yards of field ahead of them and say, go put together a drive, see what you do. 1st and 10 from the 40. Kyle Parker, 13-yard reception. They're on the move. 1st down again. Harold Perkins comes on a blitz and bats the ball as Nuss has thrown it. Trey'Dez Green catches it off the deflection and gets about a yard or 2. So they got 2nd and long. Bauer Sharp gets a catch. He's 1 yard short of the 1st down. So it's 3rd and 1 from the 41. And Caden Durham catches a screen pass and zips up for 13 yards and a 1st down. So now they're in business at the 28-yard line. 1st down from the 28. Nussmeier deep to Berrien Brown, who beats Ashton Stamps for the touchdown, just a straight go route. It just run. They blew the top off of it. PAT's good. First team offense, your day's over, touchdown. The 2s go out there, and this is where the problem started again for the offense. 1st and 10, delayed game by Michael Van Buren. It's 1st and 15. False start by Jelani Watkins. It's 1st and 20. 5-yard reception by Bauer Sharp. It's 2nd and 15. 2nd and 15, Michael Van Buren tucks, runs, zigzags for 25 yards, an incredibly athletic play. Now all of a sudden you went from 1st and 20 to 1st and 10 at the plus 45. 1st down, Bauer Sharp, false start. It's 1st and 15. They run a check down to Caleb Jackson. He gets 5 yards back. It's 2nd and 10. They go deep for Berrien Brown. This would have been a touchdown, but Michael Van Buren underthrew him. I mean, he had Michael Turner beaten. Van Buren underthrows the ball, and it falls incomplete. So it's 3rd and officially, I guess, 3rd and 9, and they went for Destin Hill. I'm sorry, they went for Donovan Green and the other number 2. Jordan Gilbert got a pass breakup, and then on 4th and 9, they attempted a 63-yard field goal with Aaron Burrell, and he missed it short and wide to the right. But it was interesting to see it because if nothing else, it shows you they at least feel like Burrell has the leg to be able to attempt something like that if they get in a situation where you're playing percentages. Like, is a 60-yard field goal attempt a higher percentage play than a Hail Mary? And with a guy like Trey'Dez Green, maybe not. Like, maybe throwing the jump ball to the 6'7" guy is the higher percentage play. Or maybe letting Aaron Burrell kick a 60-yarder is a higher percentage play. But it's something to tell you, Burrell has a serious leg, and he shows it off at practice every time out there. But it was a lot of work for LSU, a 2-hour practice on Monday with a lot of team periods involved. And it was a day that largely, by and large, was won by the offense. We're brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio. By the way, shout out to Terrio. Terrio got to go play for the Party Animals on Friday. Did you see that? He got an at-bat when the Party Animals were playing the Texas Tailgaters. Is that the other people? Do you know?
It was the Texas Tailgaters.
Yeah, the Texas Tailgaters. Yeah. Did you see Terrio?
I did see Terrio. I'm actually doing Tigers in the Pros right now.
Okay.
And I was going to be like, do the Savannah Bananas count?
Yeah.
And I was going to talk about this.
Well, it wasn't the Bananas. It was
the Party Animals.
Party Animals and the Texas Texas Tailgaters. And Terrio flew out to right. He told me that he didn't want to strike out or get sawed off. He didn't want to break his bat.
He's the only one of the 4 that didn't strike out.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I know Beloso struck out.
He
Jared
struck out.
Mitchell
J-Mitch
and
struck
Fontenot?
out, and Fontenot struck out.
No.
Mm-hmm. He's the only one that put bat on ball.
Tell you what, man. Know my guy a long time. I've talked a lot of baseball with Terry over the years. And his thing is team concept baseball. Don't be selfish. Just put it in play. And he went backside, too.
Yeah.
Fly ball to right field. He's getting that run home from third. Proud of my guy. Went out there. Hey, good contact, too.
It was pretty good contact.
I mean, dude, my guy's 45 years old.
No,
you realize 45 years old.
Still had a sweet swing.
Yeah. He said Milam was clowning him when he was practicing. He's like, Coach, this don't look good. I know. Anyway, do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. All right, let's knock out a quick break, y'all. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. We'll come back, talk to our buddy Chris Lee from vandysports.com, continue our SEC fall previews. Want to take a look at the Vanderbilt Commodores. What do they do for an encore? Let's find out next on AFR.
After further review.
Got a text today that my NAD Plus is in over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm going to swing by there tomorrow to go pick it up. Remember, at Goodwood, they have so many therapies to help you feel like your younger self. Yes, they have ED treatments. Hormone replacement therapy is something that I would recommend to anybody. Go do your blood draw to see if you're a candidate. Maybe you don't need it, but you want to talk about regaining your vitality. Hormone replacement therapy could be the answer. It's safe. It's affordable. Lowest prices, never any contracts. NAD Plus is quite, do some research. Go meet with Gabe, but it's quite literally helping your cellular biology. You were getting younger at a cellular level. You want to feel your best? Great ways to do it. Y'all, it's 2025. Ain't no sense in walking around being sick and tired all the time. Goodwood can help. YourGoodwood.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item. We prominently feature it in social media, on our website.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Well, what do they do for an encore in Nashville? Diego Pavia and the gang, a couple of really impressive wins, of course, knocking off number 1 Alabama, the one everyone knows. They become bowl eligible. They beat Georgia Tech. 7-6 is the finish, and now everyone's looking with Diego Pavia getting an extra year of eligibility. Can they do it again? Let's ask our buddy Chris Lee from VandySports.com. Chris, always great to talk to you, man. Thanks for the time. How are you?
Yeah, always good to be on with you, and thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, man. Okay, so what do they do for an encore?
Go to a bowl game again?
Okay. It's interesting, Chris, because as I look at a lot of the projections, Vandy's at 1.5, 2 wins, and it feels maybe like that might be a little disrespectful considering they did that a year ago. They went to a bowl game a year ago. So let me start just with a little more specific targeted comments. Pavia, with the way he played a year ago, what do we think is realistic for him year 2 there at Vanderbilt?
Oh, man, I think he's really, really good. I think, and boy, the whole team discussion, I mean, I gave you kind of not a silly answer, but I mean, this is one of these teams, and it is with Pavia too, by the way, where you can almost look at anything and see whatever you want to see. And I can get into that a little bit later if you want to. But with Pavia, I think the narrative last year was, hey, teams figured him out in the second half and he wasn't nearly as good. But if you watched him, you could tell from the midpoint of the season on, he was not the same guy. He didn't have the same burst. And he made a couple of comments in the offseason. One of them was that, hey, once Deion Walker fell on me at Kentucky, which, I think when a 330-pound man falls on any of us, we're not the same maybe. He was a different guy. He also talked later about tearing a hamstring. I have to think that was maybe like a strain, which is a partial tear, not like a complete tear. Otherwise, I don't know how he plays. But the point is, he was not the same guy the second half of the season. And their offensive numbers suffered greatly. They were nowhere near the team that played Alabama once he got hurt, which was the following week in the Kentucky game. So you got that aside. For the bowl game, he finally has a month to rest, and he comes back and he accounts for 5 touchdowns, and he looks more like the first guy. So I think it's one of these things where there are 2 camps. There's one camp that says, okay, teams are going to have more film on him and they figured him out, and he's not going to be the same guy. And a lot of people are riding with that. And the other camp, if you watched him, you're going, okay, I think it was a health thing. And finally, I think if it was as simple as the film, this is kind of where I stand. Like Auburn had film on him, although the defense won the Auburn game and not him. But teams had plenty of film on Diego Pavia. He just executed everything almost to perfection. When he lost his burst is when they weren't the same offense. So to me, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and they've just got to keep him healthy, which, by the way, they made a priority. They've got 4 graduate transfers they brought in that will start on the offensive line. And I think that's the key to their season is, can they keep him healthy and upright? Because I think if they do, there's no reason he can't have the kind of season he had last year when he was well.
So, Chris, that was going to be my next question. One of the things that's interesting about how Clark Lee, Barton Simmons, how they've built this roster, they've been very intentional by getting old players, right? Not necessarily 5-star guys, but graduates and super seniors and all that sort of stuff. At least that's what they did a year ago. How many of those how much turnover is there? Effectively, better way of asking, Chris, did they go into the portal and do the same thing again this year?
Yeah, no, they didn't do the same thing. They did the same thing they did, but I think they did it better in some ways. Not counting Pavia, but I mean, the offensive line, they have got 5 graduate transfers on it. 4 new guys and Chase Mitchell, who's now moving inside from tackle to guard. And they have a couple of backups, too, that have a ton of experience. I would bet you if you took all the games they're 2 deep on the offensive line has played, it's more than any other offensive line in the country. In fact, Phil Steele has them as a team, is the most experienced team in the country. They've got a lot of not just 2022 grads, which would be normal 4th-year seniors, but 21 grads who are 5th-year senior. Pavia is a 6th-year senior, according to high school graduation year. They've even got a 19 or 2 grad on the team. I mean, they are really, really old. Now, look, the question is, would you rather have guys that are, in their fifth or sixth year of football who played a lot of it and maybe played at a lower level? Or would you rather have, say, the guys that LSU gets that maybe haven't played much yet, but they were top 100 recruits? They're just 4 years younger. I mean, that's really going to be the question, and I'm interested to see how that plays out.
What weapons are there for Diego Pavia on offense?
Well, he's got Eli Stowers, who is, according to a lot of people, the best tight end in the country, is thought to be a first-round pick next year. Now, he's been out of camp for the last week. In fact, that's one caution I have with them. They've had a lot of key guys out. I don't know if that is just having the luxury of doing it lately or signs of maybe injuries that'll be problematic. Time will tell. But if he's healthy and well, he's an absolute nightmare to cover because of his size and his athleticism. Behind him, they've got, or not behind him, but at receiver, they've got Junior Sherrill, who's a quality receiver. Not like, an all-SEC guy, but a quality guy that could play for a lot of teams. They brought in Trey Richardson, who's a JUCO kid who had about 1,300 yards in JUCO last year as a 10-3 and 900-meter guy. He gives them speed they didn't have. And they've been playing Martell Height, who's their best defensive back, some at receiver too. He's also hurt now with the concussion, but when he's been in there, he's been a take the top off the defense and practice guy. That gives them a degree of explosiveness they didn't have a year ago. Now look, there's some ifs there with injuries and with a guy that is playing D1 ball after playing JUCO ball for a couple of years. But when I watched him in practice, I feel like they've got more weapons around him in terms of pass catching. Now, I don't really care for their running back room. I think it's very unexciting and very ordinary, and that might be kind by SEC standards. But I think if you look at the receiving room and Stowers, they've absolutely got more guys that a defense has to be concerned about than they did a year ago.
He's on Twitter at ChrisLee70, at ChrisLee70, Vandy247, of course, Southeastern. By the way, are we still Southeastern 14 or are we Southeastern 16?
Oh, we're 16. We're keeping with the times. We can count unlike some of these other leagues.
So the website is Southeastern 16?
Well, we've got a website. We don't use it much. 90-something% of our work is at YouTube, and of course the same thing you can do an audio podcast.
Of course. Okay, so Southeastern 16 is the podcast. I'm subscribed to it. I was wondering, on the website, and I was like, okay, good to know though, because the YouTube will be the best place to find it. You can search Southeastern 16. They do great baseball coverage as well there. I would highly recommend it to anybody. Flip it over. Clark Lee, although he was a fullback, he's made his hay in coaching as a defensive coordinator. What are the Commodores looking like on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, they saved 11 points off their average a year ago. Steve Gregory's going to be running the defense full-time. He and Clark Lee kind of split, but I think Gregory called the defense the second half of the year, and they played pretty well. I think they're at least as good or better everywhere other than maybe safety, where they lost a couple kids who played a long time. They're a whole lot deeper at corner. They've got to get Martell Height healthy. He's their best corner. Again, he's been out recently. But they have a couple of JUCO kids, FCS kids, there we go, that would have played for them a year ago and probably played a lot, that both missed all of last season. They've got one of them back now in Marlon Jones, who had 4 picks at Eastern Washington. And then they've got another kid who's been held out for a while but will help them. At linebacker, they've got 5 or 6 really good ones. I don't mean like Weeks and Perkins kind of good at LSU, but really good to where like their backups would start for them most years. They've got a lot of flexibility. And then the defensive line, they've probably got 9 or 10 guys they can trust to play in game situations and hold their own, which is not typical for them. Again, it's not LSU and Bama guys, but by Vandy standards, it's a lot better than they've had. So I think they ought to be at least as good as they were a year ago, provided they can be okay at safety with some new kids who are talented. But they didn't play as much as the 2 kids who graduated in front of them did.
Chris, we started this by asking, what do you do for an encore if they can get back to a bowl? Here's the problem I see, so I need you to walk me through this. Vandy's going to play road games against Virginia Tech, South Carolina, Alabama, Texas, and Tennessee. And they also have to play LSU at home and Missouri, Auburn, Kentucky at home. Walk me through the path to 6 and a bowl.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the problem. The schedule is really, really tough. In my mind, if I were picking a playoff field today, I would have Texas, LSU, and Alabama all on the schedule. 2 of those 3 are on the road. So that's one issue. I think you look further, you've got a couple more potential playoff teams. I don't know that I'm buying Tennessee as a playoff team with the quarterback troubles, but a lot of the analytics put them in that range. That's in Knoxville. That game's a good ways off, so that one's not going to be easy. And then Missouri, I think, is better than people think maybe, but that's at home. And then you've got some other tough games in there. South Carolina, which is one they never win, and Virginia Tech, which is one that they'll meet a team on the road that'll be excited to get them back next year. That's a pretty tough path. I think the path looks like this, though. If they can go 5-1 or 4-1 going into the Alabama game, which would mean probably beating Charleston Southern, Virginia Tech, Georgia State, and Utah State, that's not undoable. You say they're going to lose in Tuscaloosa, so that's 4-2. Then comes a rough stretch at home. But, I mean, if they can pick off Auburn and Kentucky again, which they did a year ago, and get those other 4, that's 6 right there. You know, maybe you get a Tennessee in Knoxville. Maybe you get a Missouri at home. I think the games are tough. But, you know, the thing with them last year, Matt, they were a couple of losses away from being in the SEC title game. Now, they were also a few losses in close games away from being 2-10. So it's a weird dynamic where they played everybody close. But I think, you know, you get the ones you got last year and then maybe try to pick off a Missouri or somebody at home. And I think, you know, 6 or 7 wins is very doable.
Yeah. That Missouri game was one you look and scratch your head how they lost it, and they had a real shot against Texas also. So there is that component of it. Chris, interesting times, man. We'll be up in Nashville this year for LSU and Vandy, so we'll look you up then. We'll look forward to seeing you, man. Thanks for the time as always.
Yeah, it'll be a fun season, and I hope to see you in Nashville.
We'll do, man. That's Chris League and Vandy 247, and check out Southeastern 16. They do a great job covering all of the league at Southeastern 16. Check it out on YouTube. There's Twitter as well, but YouTube podcast, all that stuff. They do great. Chris does a great job with baseball. Is all of his all their content's great, but they really do great baseball content in addition to everything else. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question, go where gentlemen in our state have gone for 4 decades, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where they want you to be comfortable with your purchase. They want her to be thrilled and you to be the hero. That's why they'll accept exchanges. If she's not thrilled, you can exchange it. If you want to go and try on 1,000 different rings, try on every single piece of jewelry, they're fine with it. They want you to have the most incredible experience buying that piece of jewelry that's going to last, that's going to be in your family, handed down through generations. I mean, think about giving your wife's diamond one day to your daughter and then her daughter. And so this is generations is what we're talking about. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're just the best. lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review, and glad to have you hanging out with us here. Ross Jackson in 14 minutes from right now. He's out in L.A. with the Saints. Lost to the Chargers yesterday. I want Ross's reaction to the game. Sort of put the little bit of the plan for the rest of the week for the Hoodats out in L.A. before they come back to New Orleans, take on Jacksonville in the Dome this coming weekend. We'll do that when we come back on AFR.
After Further Review.
Glow Resources, their complete employer solutions, GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com, GLO, glowresources.com. I love telling you about Glow Resources because at Glow Resources, they've maintained their local presence. One of the great things about Glow Resources. Yes, they've expanded and built. Jareth Nakhan's done an incredible job building that business to a multi-state operations, become a huge business. They are still, home base is still Baton Rouge. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you're looking for C-level management. They can help. Maybe you need project managers. Glow Resources can help. Maybe you need to employ your call centers. Maybe you need engineers. Glow Resources can help. If you need to find the right people, Glow Resources should be a first, not a last resort, a first resort for quality and long-term effectiveness. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online at glowresources.com. GLO, glowresources.com, complete employer solutions.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Ross Jackson coming up right after Sports Center. Right now, Alondra has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right. So I mentioned a little bit earlier what we were going to talk about, but before we get into that, Jaden Daniels is being joined by a fellow Tiger in D.C. The Commanders announced that they are signing linebacker Duke Riley, drafted by the Falcons in 2017. He was a third-round pick, spent some time with the Eagles, and was last with the Dolphins. Last season, he had 11 tackles in a special teams role. But moving on to what we were talking a little bit about earlier, I don't know if this counts as pro.
Yep.
But Banana Ball is what they call it.
Yep.
The Texas Tailgaters and the Party Animals were at the box this weekend. We know a couple of the guys that were out there, our very own Ryan Terrio.
Not a bad.
Put bat to ball, but he did get out.
Hey, flew out.
None
of them got on base.
It's fine. None of them got on base. I stand corrected. Mike Fontenot did also hit the ball, but he got out too. He hit it to
Here's
first base.
Fontenot right here.
Yeah.
He roped one.
Ooh,
great play by the first baseman, leap and grab. Fontenot got robbed. Fontenot would have had a single.
He got robbed.
Our guy, the Riot, flew out to right. So there's the Fontenot play right there. See, I mean, that's a hell of a play by the
That's
first
a pretty
base.
good play.
Here's the riot. He put bat to ball. He told me the only thing he didn't want to do was strike out
He didn't.
or get sawed off. He didn't want to break his bat.
Yeah.
He said that would have been embarrassing.
And
So
then
he
Cade
flew out to
Beloso.
right.
Yeah, flew out to right, and then Cade Beloso got him looking.
Cade Beloso, strikeout.
The Cajun
looking.
Bambino
I mean,
got struck out by the Texas Tailgaters.
Striking out's bad. Striking out while wearing an all pink getup.
Oof. Not a great look. But he's a
Sorry,
legend.
we love you. We love you, Cade. We
He's
love
a
you.
legend.
We love you, Cade. Legend.
But yeah, that went down at the box last weekend.
And then
J.
J. Mitch struck out.
also struck out.
J. Mitch struck out
Come
swinging.
on.
I know. Can we just give him like
Kind
a
of swung out his shoes a little bit.
Can't we give him a little BP fastball? I mean, you struck out by a guy wearing a cowboy hat on the bump.
I know. We can't have that. Also, Zach Watson's on the Texas Tailgaters, former LSU outfielder, had a cool play where he caught a pop out and did a backflip at the exact same time.
It wasn't a pop out. It was a fly ball to center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it ended up being a pop out because he caught it.
Well, it's not a pop out. That's anyway. Semantics. It's not a pop out. It was a fly out to center. But he did a really cool backflip while catching the ball, which is amazing. If you haven't seen the video, go look it up.
Athleticism I will never have.
Looked like a lot of fun.
It did. Yeah. I like banana ball. I know it's controversial, but I like it. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alondra. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Get those eye exams for your children here as school's getting ready to start. I'll finish the Williamson Eye read later.
AFR.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
Setup.
I'm Doug Brown. It's close, but Texas is number one in the preseason Associated Press media poll. The Longhorns are just 6 points ahead of number 2 Penn State, the closest vote in 27 years. The reigning champs are third, Ohio State, followed by Clemson and Georgia. The first full weekend of the NFL preseason opened some eyes, like ESPN's Chris Canty looking at Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders.
Those guys on that Browns sideline believe in Shedeur Sanders as much as Shedeur believes in himself. And if he can galvanize that locker room in that way from what we saw Friday night, this Cleveland Browns team is going to be a hell of a lot better than people expect.
Chris Canty on Unsportsmanlike. Lions safety Maurice Norris is back with the team and in concussion protocol. Norris got hurt trying to make a tackle on the first play of the fourth quarter Friday night against the Falcons. The Titans activate center Lloyd Cushenberry today. He's coming back from a torn Achilles last November against the Patriots.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villaria. I like saying that too much. I just really enjoy doing it. Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us on this Monday. New Orleans Saints lost their first preseason game. They were out in L.A. against the Chargers, 27-13. The final, let's be honest, the result of preseason games really is inconsequential. It was the means to that end, what all transpired therein that does matter. Ross Jackson from LouisianaSports.net, locked on Saints. He's out in L.A. with the team. Good enough to hang out with us here for a couple of minutes. Yo, man, how are you?
Hey, dude, doing great. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Okay. Biggest takeaways from the game itself?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we got to start with the quarterback spot, right? And I think that Tyler Shuck did a pretty good job making a case for himself. I think that they came into this preseason game with him kind of building some momentum. He's kind of been building it as we've been writing over at Louisiana Sports since that 126 insane day of scrimmage practice and everything. He's kind of been building some momentum. Like, you get him into these kind of call-it situations, these game-like situations, and he seemed to have thrived in those moments. And I think that you saw a little bit of that on Sunday. Yes, you had the pick six that went, a nice little welcome to the NFL moment and everything, but him coming back and responding to that with the big deep ball down the left sideline to Mason Tipton, throwing for 165 yards, getting 30 snaps during this preseason game. I just think that he was given a lot more opportunities to go out there and kind of showcase what it is that he could do, and you could see kind of the high level of what it is that he can do, which obviously stood out to the Saints during their draft evaluation.
Did you see anything in the game that would contradict or contrast what you've seen from any, not just quarterbacks, any player, good or bad?
Yeah, I don't know if I saw anything that necessarily contradicted, although it was interesting to kind of see. Well, I guess I do have an example, actually. And it sticks with the quarterbacks, actually, that it felt like the two passers kind of reversed what their training camp had looked like. Like Spencer Rattler had been a lot more kind of decisive, risk-taking, all those other things. He seemed a little bit more conservative in the offense on Sunday. And then Tyler Shuck, who's been notably risk-averse throughout most of training camp, if not all of training camp up until that scrimmage, he looked a lot more aggressive. Saints only had 3 passes that traveled more than 15 air yards from the line of scrimmage. All 3 of them came out of Tyler Shuck's hands. And so I think that was a little bit of that. But outside of that, I think for the most part, we saw a lot of things that were kind of confirming. One other player that maybe did something a little bit different than we expected happened on the positive side, and that would be, Taurus Simpkins, who had to jump in at center 2 snaps into the game after not playing center since his North Carolina Central days back in 2023, and ended up playing 97% of snaps and played pretty well there. Gave up 1 pressure, a lot of clean snaps, and we've seen a lot of snapping issues for the Saints over the course of the training camp, and so I think that he did a pretty good job. So his contradicted, but his contradicted in a positive way for sure.
He's on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola, LouisianaSports.net. By the way, Ross's Saints preseason game standouts are up at LouisianaSports.net. If you want to check them out there, you can see it. Anybody else, before we move forward, anybody else from this list of your preseason standouts against the Chargers that you want to highlight?
Yeah, I mean, we saw kind of good confirmation from what we expected from the edge rusher group. Fadil Diggs as well as Chris Rump have both had really strong practices. Fadil Diggs has really come on strong here as of late. He continued that. I thought, you saw like Isaiah Stallbird kind of step in and perform well in his role too. Quincy Riley covered really well. I think a lot of the defensive depth looked pretty good. And then I'll highlight, Kelvin Banks Jr. and Trevor Penning. Before Trevor Penning went out with the injury, both those guys were out there for 20 reps and played very well over on that left side of the offensive line. And so I think that gives you a little bit of confirmation in terms of what we've seen so far throughout camp. But I think in their case, kind of finally shows you something because there's only so much you can see during camp when it comes to that. Yeah. And so both those guys kind of standing out in that area I thought was notable.
Ross, do you have any update on Penning, Will Clapp, Bub Means, the guys that were injured in the game?
Yeah, nothing super meaningful as of right now. I've heard though I've heard though that, the Bub Means one is maybe the most concerning. And I think that's just kind of tied to his injury history from last year, right? He had the ankle injury last year, had a setback and kind of ended his season very early. And then, he was carted off with, the right shoe off, maybe a foot injury, maybe an ankle injury. We'll see. Towel over the head, never really a good sign. So just the tone around his has kind of been different than the others. We'll see what happens with Will Clapp. Remember, he was actually banged up a little bit during one of the scrimmages out here in California, and then got back out on the practice field after having a little bit of a shaky camp so far. And so I think he was trying to, impress upon or build upon, improve upon where he was kind of sitting when it came to his camp. And, we'll see what all happens with him. Trevor Penning, a lot of the conversation around him has been pretty optimistic so far. I'm not saying I'm reporting optimism around it, but it seems like, he was walking to the cart just fine. And look, sometimes you use the cart in these preseason games in particular just for precautionary purposes. And so we'll see. I think we'll get a better update either by seeing them on the field when the Saints get back to the practice field tomorrow, or certainly Kellen Moore speaking to us at the end of the day.
Is Kellen Moore speaking today or tomorrow?
It'll be tomorrow after practice.
Okay, so nothing today. There would have been some conversation potentially about the Saints and the Rams trying to do some joint practices out in L.A. this week. Anything there?
Yeah, it sounds like if that's going to happen, it sounds like Thursday might be the target. I've heard a couple of Wednesday mentions, but mostly Thursday seems to be the target when it comes to that. I've heard some conversation that it might be at a neutral field as well, so they might move to kind of meet in the middle so that the Rams don't have to come all the way down here to Orange County, but then the Saints also don't have to go all the way up to the Rams up in L.A. County, and so they kind of find a halfway point for that. But that kind of comes to fruition. If it does, it's because the Chargers and Rams are supposed to have their preseason game, their joint practices, but the Chargers were already dealing with too many injuries and then had more injuries during the game. And so with the cancellation of that, it frees up the Rams for an opportunity. And so we'll see if the Saints are able to kind of make that one happen. But I think what the Saints are going to do before they fully confirm it is kind of see where they are health-wise. Now that they had 4 players go down with injury and Tyler Shucks nursing in the injury, I think they want to kind of see where things are, or a bruised knee, he said. I think you kind of want to see where they are health-wise before they completely finalize things. But if they do, it'll probably be the second or third practice this week.
Hey, Ross, if the Saints were to drive all the way up to L.A. County to practice against the Rams, what would be the best way for them to get there?
Well, I think if they're going up to Carson, they should take the 405, bro. I think that's probably the way to go. Certainly the way I would do it.
Take the 405 up to the... What, do you know what exit it would be?
Oh, no, but it's okay. Just take it to go off to Carson, man. Take the Carson exit.
The Californians. We're in group texting Californians gifts all weekend. Anyway, hey, all right. So, when do they come back home?
So they will travel back on Friday. So the last practice will be Thursday. They'll travel back on Friday. They'll have a walkthrough either at the Dome or at the facility. I'm not sure which, but they'll have a walkthrough on Saturday and then be ready for their game against Jacksonville on Sunday.
All right. Any person, storyline thing you'd like to see during the remainder of the week when the Saints are in L.A.?
Yeah, look, I have my next story. I wrote about the standouts. My next story is the three players that didn't help themselves. That's coming out later on today, and I think that's going to be the thing I'm going to be paying kind of the most attention to. Obviously, you're looking for health updates and things like that. That goes without saying. But guys like, you and I have talked about Isaiah Foskey here recently, just a guy that did not really do himself any favors during this game, played the most snaps out of any defensive player and didn't notch a single pressure and barely caught anybody's eye during the game. And when you've got guys like Jashean Davis, the undrafted free agent rookie who we haven't seen out here, who we didn't see during the game, but, Fadil Diggs, 7th-round pick, come in, flash. Chris Rumpf signed with the Saints. Familiarity with Brandon Staley is flash. We've just not seen Isaiah Foskey do that. So I'm going to be watching him to see if he's able to help himself. And I'm curious, too. I mean, look, the Saints have some, solid talent at wide receiver at the top of their depth chart. But as we've discussed a lot, the bottom of the depth chart, right, the depth behind those guys kind of comes up short. And we haven't seen a lot from Donovan Peoples-Jones. Saw, far fewer snaps than some of the other kind of depth wide receivers during this game. And so I'm really curious to see if he's the guy that can maybe change some minds and maybe start to make a statement here over the course of the week.
Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net. If you want to read him, if you want to watch or listen, it's the Locked On Saints podcast on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. Okay, man, take it easy on the PCH, man. Take it easy.
Oh, man.
Take the 10 to the PCH, go up to Malibu, go to the Boo.
Go to the Boo. Not the Boo.
Hey, man, I'll let you go on that note. Thank you, dude.
I appreciate you, man. I'm going to sit here and enjoy the OC. See you, brother.
All right, man. We'll see you. That's Ross Jackson. I was starting to tell you about the Williamson Eye Center before we got rudely interrupted by a hard break earlier. WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. Dr. Blake Williamson does an awesome job. Look, school's back in. Drew's first day is tomorrow. I know a lot of kiddos are already back in school. Make sure you get their eye exam. Parents, make sure you get your children their annual eye exam. The Williamson Eye Center can do it. They got 8 locations. Of course, in Baton Rouge, in Denham, in River Parishes in Lutcher, Zachary, St. Francisville. So they're all over Greater Baton Rouge. So make sure you get your child their annual eye exam here at the beginning of school. Get their eyes checked. You do that at the Williamson Eye Centers. We always say if you want to ditch contacts and glasses forever, they've got a refractive procedure for any prescription, age, no matter what your refractive issue is. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, thanks to Ross Jackson for joining us there. If you don't know what we're talking about, there was a skit from SNL, Saturday Night Live, years ago called The Californians, where it was just a stereotypical Californian, wealthy California soap opera sort of thing. And one of the bits was, can you maybe pull one up? See, one of the bit, I don't know if you can find it, but one of the bits was always because people in California talk about directions to where to get, however, through Los Angeles. And so it's in the middle of a conversation. We take the 10 to the PCH, go north to the Boo, and get off on Mulholland, come over anyway, it's a...
Wait, I have a clip of it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, okay. If you got it, yeah.
What are you doing here?
Stuart, why are you him so early?
I skipped Wilshire and took Beverly over to Santa Monica and took that all the way up. Hey, Stuart, yeah, I just came over to fix the speakers, the outside speakers on the patio. I think they sound pretty good.
That's what he's about to crack. I mean, they almost cracked that whole skit. I mean, it's just very hard for them to keep a straight face. But it's great. Anyway, in Ross, incidentally, Ross went to school at Irvine, at UC Irvine. So he's from New Orleans. Post-Katrina, Ross was in Arkansas for a while, and now obviously lives back in New Orleans, went to school out at Cal Irvine. So it's interesting that the Saints are practicing at the place where he went to school. So Ross is maybe a little more familiar with the Californians than most. So that's why when I dropped the Boo on him, it broke him entirely. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Joe Sloan on Friday, Blake Baker on Monday met with reporters. At different points during their press conferences, both were asked about preparing for the other side of the ball. You'll hear Blake Baker talking about Joe Sloan's offense and Joe Sloan talking about Blake Baker's defense next on AFR.
AFR.
If you are thinking about selling your home, you wouldn't go with a first-time realtor, would you? If you're building your home, you wouldn't want someone, their first home build, to be yours, would you? I mean, if I'm going out to a great dinner, I want a chef that's been an executive chef for a long time with tons of experience, not someone preparing their first meal. Why would it be any different with selling your home? Darren James, for the last decade, has been on the Wall Street Journal Real Trends list of the top 1% of realtors in America. For a decade straight, he's been on that list. There's nobody in Louisiana that sells more homes, that gets to a closing table more often than Darren James. Why would you hire anyone else? 335-7666, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Value Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right. Rolling along, Monday edition of AFR. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Muso's out all week. Alondra's hanging in today. I think Jordan's in tomorrow. So Paulie's back. Welcome back. Paul had a couple days off last week. So we are steamrolling through LSU Fall Camp. Saints out in California. So we got a ton to do, though, as we continue to get you ready for the season opener as the Tigers now. We're inside of 3 weeks from LSU and Clemson. It was 3 weeks from Saturday. So we are counting down, man. You're not going to have any more Saturdays without football or weekends without football for a long, long time. It's a great spot to be. Blake Baker met with reporters after practice on Monday. Joe Sloan met with reporters after practice on Friday. And it's interesting to hear both of their perspectives on the other side of the ball. Like, Blake Baker was asked about Garrett Nussmeier. Like, for his defense, going out there every day and having to go against Garrett Nussmeier, what's that like?
He's a pain in the butt. I know that. He's a really, really good player. He's very smart. He does a phenomenal job understanding coverage and how to look that coverage up. He's done a really, really good job this camp. You know, it's been written about a ton as far as extending plays. But, again, of all those things, the thing that he does off the field and the way that he leads, and he's not afraid to speak, he's what you want in a quarterback, in my opinion. When you talk about there's quarterbacks that sometimes are really good players and they're quiet leaders, but he's outspoken and the guys rally behind him. So it's been fun.
And you do have on this team, honestly, on both sides of the ball, vocal leadership. And whether that's good or bad, I think it's good. I don't know that it necessarily translates to wins. Sometimes guys are willing to be outspoken. For example, today there was a point where Bauer Sharp jumped off sides in a goal line period, and Whit Weeks, who wasn't on the field, it was that the twos were in at this point, and so Whit's standing behind the offensive huddle with the defense, and he's yelling from the sideline, "False start, bag him up," like just going crazy. And Brian Kelly yells at him like, "Hey, shut up! They don't need your help." But like, it's just, you have guys that are willing to be vocal. At the very beginning of practice, Nuss was yelling at everybody when they went outside, huddle up and get ready. You have that. You have the guys that are the alphas. Everyone in a program full of dudes that are all used to being 4- and 5-star guys, the best guy on their team forever. They all know who the alphas are on this team. It's very apparent. And Nuss is that on the offensive side. Now, on Friday, we talked to Joe Sloan, and he was asked kind of about like the defensive progress in going against Blake Baker.
Now, players playing fast. The implementation of the defense, right, and the structure, so that there's less thinking, more ability to tinker and have different little things that they want to do based on alignments. And I think they're playing really smart football. But also, I think there's a lot of really good athletes over there too. I think the secondary is playing extremely well, and I think the whole front's playing well. They pose a lot of problems, right, and it's a good thing for us, right, because then they make an adjustment, then we got to see it and we got to make that adjustment. But it's great for us to see. I think they got some twitchy guys inside coming off the football, which is going to be really good and good to watch on the other side. You know what I mean? When we don't have to play them, so that'd be nice.
I did an interview this morning on Jocks FM in Birmingham with Cole Kublik and Greg McElroy, and we were talking about the team periods, and I was explaining kind of what I said here, which is what we've said really in all our practice reports, which is defensively they've really had the upper hand on the offense until today. Like the last 2 days, the offense has kind of won the day. Certainly on Monday, the offense won the day. But in the first week and a half of fall camp, when they would go team period, it was just overwhelming that the defense was winning. And, Cole asked me, he's like, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but is it just base looks? Or are they doing, I was like, no. They're being very creative with their blitzes. They are blitzing, they're rushing, you're looking at odd fronts. I mean, we've seen sort of their pass rush front where Jack Pyburn and Bernard Gooden go inside, and you've seen Kalaj Cobbins and Patrick Payton on the outside. I mean, it's just the defense is showing a lot, so it's a big challenge for the offense. I think Joe Sloan's right. It's forcing them to grow up in a hurry with a lot of the new guys. And Blake Baker on Monday was also asked about how they improved. No, it wasn't that one. It was he was asked about improving late in the year last year, but he didn't. He said there were some things they had to do. He wouldn't disclose. He said there were some things that they did maybe that were off-brand for him, things he wouldn't necessarily want to do, but had to do because of the personnel that they had. Now, and he was asked to elaborate, and he wasn't willing to do it, so he didn't want to give away any secrets or anything like that. But, I think one of the big things that's changed clearly is personnel in certain spots. And the question that I asked Blake Baker right out the chute was his assessment of the safeties. And the reason I brought this up, and this is no secret, we've talked about it a bunch, and it doesn't matter if you look at something like Pro Football Focus, where last year the lowest rated players on the defense were your safeties. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but it was Gilbert and Burns, and it was a problem. And early they tried to rotate some of the young guys in there, like Deshaun Spears, who's a 5-star who has such tremendous potential and upside. He was just playing early as a freshman last year. And then after that first month of the season, they just said, "Look, we're just putting the veterans out there. At least they know where they're supposed to be," and it wasn't great. And it was a pretty consistent thing last year. It's just so odd to see, because LSU, this is the program that's had LaRon Landry and Jamal Adams and Eric Reed, and you run through all these, Grant Delpit, these amazing safeties that have rolled through this program. And to be so bad at that position a year ago was a bit of an outlier. So I asked Blake Baker a very open-ended question. I said, "What's your assessment of the safeties?" And I asked it just for your context, just for your understanding. I think there's two ways to ask a question, really depending on what answer you're trying to get. Like, there are times to ask a very specific question when you need a confirmation of an answer. For example, asking Brian Kelly last week, was Garrett Nussmeier a full participant at practice today? That is a yes or no answer. There is no way to manipulate an answer to that question. Like, that is a very direct question that warrants a very direct answer. But sometimes I think we ask questions, you tend to maybe get in the habit of asking a leading question. Like, for example, I could have asked Blake Baker, why is A.J. Halsey so important to your defense? What's a leading question? That's leading him to an answer and say, well, he's really important to the defense because, I'm leading him to saying something about A.J. Halsey. What I asked was, what is your assessment of the safeties? And the reason I asked it that way is because I wanted to leave it open-ended to see where he would go. And because I didn't name a player, if he did, that tells you that's who's top of mind for him. So I say very open-ended, Blake, give me your assessment of the safeties through 2 weeks of fall camp, and this is the answer.
Yeah, it's usually the burning question, and rightfully so. I've been really, really pleased with those guys. I think Coach Olsen and Coach Joseph, one, it helps being in year two, and then two, I think with the additions of Tamarcus Cooley and A.J. Halsey, it's been really, really good, especially with A.J. He's played a lot of football. He's extremely instinctual, one of the most instinctual players I've been around. So him just having that awareness and the communication. But when you look at the depth in that room, again, we talk about Deshaun Spears, Toviano, Jordan Gilbert. It's a good problem to have. It's a good luxury to have, and that's kind of going to be the recurring theme as we move on. When I really feel good about our depth across the board, but especially at that position, I think they're coming along very, very well.
Yes, they have depth. Okay. And at the end, he just named a whole bunch of names. But who is the guy he focused on? I asked a very open-ended question. Give me your assessment of the safeties. And where, can you play just the very beginning again? Remember how we start? Like, I didn't ask him a leading question. I didn't say, Coach, your safety play was bad last year. Give me an assessment. Do you think they improved? All I said was, give me your assessment of your safeties. This is how we started.
Yeah, so it's usually the burning question, and rightfully so.
Because, thank you, rightfully so, because they were bad. He's confirming it. They were bad at safety last year. We all saw it, but your defensive coordinator is there in so many words saying it, which is why they had to go out and get Tamarcus Cooley and A.J. Halsey. And then he starts talking about Halsey and says he's played a ton of football. He's as instinctual a player as we have. Like, that is validating for the things that we, the media, who don't really know what we're looking at. We all watch football like you watch football, but we're not coaches. Like, I'm not on a whiteboard like Xing and Oing every day. I never played safety. I mean, I can talk to, God bless, I'll give him a shout, like Gordy. Gordy played safety at LSU, knows a lot about football. I can ask Gordy questions. Brandon Taylor was a great safety at LSU. BT will come on the show and give us some insights, and that's great. But I go out to practice, and I'm like, man, 13 looks different. Like, he's making a lot of plays in the run game. He can turn and cover. He's picking off Nuss in 7-on-7. Like, there's a lot there with 13. It's just, it looks different than the others. And then the defensive coordinator tells you it, like, that's validation right there. They are, I'll continue to say it, they are better at every level of the defense talent-wise. It's not even debatable. Last year, you had Parashand and Gio Paez and a freshman Ahmad Bro really as your rotating guys on the interior. Now you got 6-year Jacoby and Guillory, 5-star Dom McKinley, 2nd-year Ahmad Bro. Oh, by the way, you've also got Sadir Mitchell, who you brought in via the transfer portal. Like, you are, and Bernard Gooden, who has been a standout so far in camp. Like, you are undeniably better there. We've talked about the edge players, all veteran 4th, 5th, and 6th-year guys. Pyburn's a 4th-year guy. Peyton's a 5th-year guy. Butler's a 6th-year guy that you added at the edge. At linebacker, having West back along with Witt, Perk back off of injury, you're better. At corner, adding Mansour Delane. At safety, the guys we just talked about, like, you're better. Undeniably. DJ Pickett at corner, you're undeniably better at every level of your defense. How much more can it come together on the field? Can you go from being a 60s total defense? I think there were 59 in the country last year in total defense. If I remember offhand, it's like 59 or 61. It was right in there. Can you go to being top 30? Can the improvement in talent allow Blake Baker the opportunity to call the type of defense he wants to call that can make you improve from 60 to top 30? Because you go top 30 with an offense that's going to score 35, 40 points a game, you're going to win a hell of a lot more than you lose. And it's really encouraging because the talent level has undeniably at every level of that defense improved to where it looks like it's supposed to look with an LSU defense. Now, you got to bring it all together. Like, you got to take all those ingredients and make it into a beautiful finished product. And that's on Blake Baker and his staff. But the ingredients on this defense are there. That much is evident when you go out there. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're aboard with us. Let me remind you about First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. You're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. You know, they are a member-owned cooperative. They specialize in financing anything rural. That's land, that's recreational property, even equipment. So they can finance your hunting property, your recreational property. First South is how you buy land. Your first option, your first call for farmers, it's their first option for agriculture. They've been first in ag in Louisiana for 100 years. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Look, a lot of people lease your hunting property. Maybe you want to own your own. This is a great time right now, from 10 acres to 1,000 acres. First South Farm Credit can help. Go to FirstSouthLand.com. That's FirstSouthLand.com for First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. I wanted to get into the Saints PFF grades from the game against the Chargers. I might bump that to tomorrow because there's one more thing that I wanted to talk about with to bring back what Joe Sloan said on Friday that we kind of saw manifest again at practice on Monday. So I think I'm going to delve into that. Otterlock's here in about 15 minutes from right now. We still got a ton to do, so don't you move. Remember, if you miss anything, you can catch it on demand, podcast, YouTube. Just search AFR LSU. Podcast or YouTube, just search AFR LSU. You'll get all of our LSU content, and AFR Saints for all of our Saints content. It's AFR.
AFR.
Every day, get a chance now for a couple of years to tell you about our friends over at Action Industries. They are a proud partner of LSU Athletics, and they are local. At Action Industries, they're here. Their facility is here. They're from the area. They hire local talent through all levels of the organization. And one of the things I say it often that I really love to focus on with Action Industries is they know who they are. They know what they're good at. The 100-person job, that's their sweet spot. They're not looking to bid on your $200 million job. That's not them. They're mega contractors who are great at that. At Action Industries, they're ASME certified. They have 2 offices, Highway 30 in Geismar and then in Belrose. And if you're the maintenance manager, if you're the turnaround coordinator, and you're looking for a great industrial contractor to bid your job, you want to get to know Action Industries. Check them out online. It's Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, Jimmy will be here in about 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes for Otter Locks. Look forward to that. When Joe Sloan met with reporters on Friday, he kind of got stuck. I don't want to say stuck, but he emphasized one word or one variation of a word phrase pretty routinely, which when I hear that, maybe it's just having listened to so many press conferences over the years, I know that's a coach trying to get a message across about what he or she deems important. Like this was Sloan on Friday. Go ahead, Alondra.
And then there's some schematic things where we're going to be able to put some guys in positions to make sure we can create some more explosives in the run game. And I think that's the key, right, is creating explosives in the run game.
Creating explosives in the run game. Here was another one.
That's really been the biggest approach, is how can we do different things to create maybe some easier opportunities for Garrett and for our offense to create some explosives.
Explosives. We got more. Hit it.
Continue to be more efficient and take advantage when the opportunity comes to be explosive.
And he was asked about Chris Hilton, and he said,
it's not just about yards, right? Yards is one thing, but we got to score points, and that comes from, explosive. A lot of times comes from explosive play touchdowns, and he definitely gives us the opportunity to do that.
You see my point? Throughout a 20-minute press conference, over and over again, he kept weaving in the word explosive, explosives, explosive plays. The reality is, we have spent so much time talking about how much the offense struggled to run the ball a year ago. And I, and a lot of you, and we've talked about the struggles the offensive line had. And that's part of it. But one of the things Joe Sloan told us on Friday was the inability to beat teams over the top, allow defenses to bring the safety in the box because they didn't respect LSU's ability to beat them deep. And so now you're trying to run the ball against numbers, and it just didn't work. And you didn't have Jaden Daniels, who was magnificent no matter how many people you put in the box. So how can you create explosives? Well, look what LSU did. Oh, Chris Hilton's back healthy. Well, they went and got Berrien Brown, and they went and got Nick Anderson. And then you have true elite top-end speed guys like Jelani Watkins, who can blow the top off a defense. And look at what's happened so far in fall camp. Just, by the way, just one more piece of context. Last year, if you look at college football from 2024, LSU was 20th in the country at plays of 10 yards or more. 20th, pretty good. 20th out of 134. They were 20th in plays of 10 yards or more. Go to plays of 20 yards or more, they dropped to 26th. Go to plays of 30 yards or more, they dropped to 50th. 40 yards or more, this was Chris Hilton coming back at the end of the season with those 3 long touchdowns that got you up to 32 right there. And then if you look at plays of 50 yards or more, LSU was 110th in the country last year. They didn't have the big play ability last year. The late Kyron Lacey wasn't going to beat dudes over the top. C.J. Daniels was a possession receiver, really good in that intermediate route. Same with Mason Taylor catching the ball from the tight end spot. Your biggest plays, guys, like Caden Durham catching a screen pass and going 80 yards against South Alabama, like those were your big plays. You look at fall camp. I mean, I told you, like, they went 11 on 11 today, and Garrett Nussmeier hits Berrien Brown for a 28-yard touchdown that would have been a touchdown from 98 when he beat Ashton Stamps. You go and you look at every play when they went scrimmage last Tuesday. Caden Durham busted a 45-yard touchdown run. Every single practice, you see these opportunities where this was 8-4, August the 4th, 11 on 11. Nuss deep, dropped it in the bucket to Chris Hilton for a touchdown, 30 yards down the sideline. Like, I can look at my notes every day on my notes, and I can point out those types of plays. It's just been such an emphasis for them in this fall camp to find those explosive plays because they evaded this team a year ago. But they went, and you got Chris Hilton back healthy, but you've also went and added Brown and Nick Anderson in the transfer portal to get those guys that can beat teams deep, that make the safety respect you, which is going to give you better numbers in the box to be able to create explosives, like Joe Sloan said, in the run game. They're going to be there in the pass game, but in the run game as well. That is one of the – and so when we sit here and I tell you – I run through these camp reports, and I keep telling you about how they're finishing drives with these big plays over the top, Berrien Brown's beating guys deep, or Chris Hilton or Caden Durham. I would be more concerned with the defense if Caden Durham was getting 6, 12, 8, 6, 7 yards a run. Like, now you can't stop. Your front line can't stop anybody if that's the case. But the defensive front has been good, but LSU's been able to pop the big one. And when Joe Sloan's telling you that's been a clear emphasis in this camp, that's a positive thing in my view. So I want to continue to see that. I want to continue to see LSU making those big plays because I know this defense has talent at every level. And if they keep winning those types of matchups, they'll be able to do it against anybody on their schedule. Explosives. Sometimes they'll tell you. They're not going to write your story for you, as Mike Detillier would say. They're not going to write the story for you. They're not going to host your show for you. But if you listen, they'll give you the answer. And Joe Sloan's telling you the single biggest thing that this offense is looking for this year, explosives. See if they can get them. All right, it's after further review. Supper Club is closed tonight, y'all. They're closed Sunday, Monday, but they'll be reopened on Tuesday. I need to check with Chef Layton to see if they have any of the Last Drop left or if they sold it. Last Drop is a very rare allocated whiskey from Buffalo Trace where they took barrels of whiskey, the youngest of which is 27 years old, blended it, and bottled it. Only 508 bottles ever in the world. When they're gone, they're gone. And Supper Club got one of them. And it's not like you get it from a distributor. Like, it was through a different intermediary. They had a chance to get a bottle. A lot of people are going to buy those bottles of Last Drop and store them and sit on them forever as an investment type deal, like a fine wine. Not Supper Club. They bought it to open it and share it with their guests. So if you're a whiskey nerd like me and you want to try something you will probably never get the chance to try ever again in your life, this is the only bottle in Louisiana, but it's at Supper Club. But that's the type of experience they want to bring to you, their guest, at Supper Club. You'll have the best meal of your life. You can never need a reservation to go pop in and sit at the bar. It's open seating at the bar always. So if you ever want to go have a cocktail after work, glass of wine, do some business, go out with coworkers, always remember you can walk into Supper Club and belly up to the bar, have a cocktail, a glass of wine. They have a fantastic whiskey selection, as good as you'll find anywhere in the city. It's at Supper Club. Get your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. That's supperclubbtr.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on this Monday edition presented by Relief Windows. We got one thing left to do. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks. The picks are already up at louisianasports.net. Remember, check those out at louisianasports.net. Hunt usually publishes Jimmy's picks right as about the time we start the show, about 3 o'clock Central. So they're usually up there if you want to get them early before lines move and change and all that stuff. But Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks to wrap up the show next.
AFR.
Man, when it is 100 degrees outside, there is nothing better when you walk outside than just swan diving into your own pool. And Duplessis Builders can help you build that own custom pool. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. That's the website. Start there. You can see pictures of their pools. You could read customer testimonials. You can see their gallery. You can even hit the Your Book tab. It's right at the top of the center of the homepage. Duplessis wants you to understand what the entire process is like, from that first meeting at their showroom, or if they come out to your house, to picking all the finishes, to the initial dig, to the completion. They want you to understand what the entire process is, so there are no surprises. They've put it all in a book. It's totally free. It's at their website. Go to DuplessisBuilders.net, hit Your Book at the top of the page. You'll see DuplessisBuilders.net. It's DuplessisBuilders.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. One thing left to do, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Doing great, Matt. How about you, buddy? How's your weekend?
Doing awesome, man. Great weekend. Popped down to New Orleans Saturday with Erica and some friends, and I had a day, little birthday celebration for the ladies, and now back to the grind, fall camp and preseason, and getting ready for the season, man. Excited about it.
You aren't running around in a red dress now in the city, huh?
No, but I didn't realize it was Red Dress Run Day, and so we did kind of happenstance our way into some of that traffic. But it's festive, man. Cities went on and we had a great weather day in New Orleans too, which you don't always have in August. But low humidity, nice breeze. It was awesome. Awesome day.
There you go. Good.
Yeah, man.
Good. All right, let's get to it tonight. LouisianaSports.net. We had an early start. We got an early lead in Cincinnati. So Cincinnati, we give it to Hunt at the Queen/DraftKings. It was minus 126 at that point, and 1-0 lead. So big pitching advantage here for the Reds. Phillies are hot. They swept Texas and Arlington over the weekend. They're pulling away from the free-falling Mets in the NL East. Yeah. And but this is Taijuan Walker against Abbott. This is big of a pitching match advantage as you can get for the Reds. So off to a solid start, lead in that one. Texas at home against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Nathan Eovaldi, it's historic. Funny that Musso isn't here for this one. Nathan Eovaldi, historic ERA start. He is third choice now for the American League Cy Young Award. He hasn't qualified for the ERA. He doesn't have enough stats. Remember that with Skeens last year. He will, and he will get there, but he is going from 50-1 to 18-1 in a week span. And so Nathan Eovaldi, we don't want to lay the big number, but we're going to lay one run, which is available at DraftKings at minus 114 against Arizona, who before the trade deadline was a seller. They just don't have the punch in their lineup, losing Suarez and Naylor. So we're going with Eovaldi in Texas in a 7 o'clock start. And then Boston and Houston. Boston with Crochet, the Ocean Springs product. He has been awesome. And Christian Javier, good pitcher, but first time after a long layoff. I think since May he hasn't started, so he's coming off of a long injury shell. Houston gradually getting their players back, though. They got Pena back. They're getting Javier. They're getting Alvarez back pretty soon as well. We know they have that lead has evaporated to the red hot and the newly acquired, newly improved since the trade deadline Seattle Mariners. But Javier needs a little seasoning before we can go with him. We're going to lay the 1.5 runs on the road here in Houston, minus 101 at DraftKings.
By the way, the laying the 1.5 is plus 104 right now, so even better number.
Oh, well, don't be a moron.
Bet more on it.
There you go.
There we go. I did not follow my own advice. I did not get in on the Reds before first pitch, and that number is now at minus 241, so I will abstain or maybe look for another opportunity to get in at some point later in that game. But Cincinnati.
Actually, I wouldn't advise that, man.
Okay.
If it's left because Then our pitching matchup, when we get into the middle innings, it's going to be, not as strong.
Okay.
So this is a starting pitching type of advantage matchup, so I wouldn't advise that.
All right. The benefit of getting in early.
Just get the little alerts, man. Come on.
Texas, Texas minus $1.14, and the Red Sox now plus money at plus $1.04. All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee, just off of Nicholson.
Good deal, man. We appreciate it. Good luck.
Good luck.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Alondra, thank you for sitting in for Musso. Paulie, welcome back. Y'all have an awesome night. Big shout out, as always, to Relief Windows. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, mind you about our friends over at Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, as they say, together we roar. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Yes, at Our Lady of the Lake, their great physicians take care of the elite LSU athletes on the field, on the court, on the diamond. Also, you may not know, but Our Lady of the Lake is taking over care of the Student Health Center. So they take care of all of the students, not just the student athletes. But Our Lady of the Lake offers championship-level health care to everyday champions like you and me, no matter where we are in life. As part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System, Our Lady of the Lake, much like St. Elizabeth and Lourdes, is part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System, a multi-state health system with standalone hospitals like the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital and clinics to give you access and convenience. It's Our Lady of the Lake. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app. 90s country and beyond. 100.7 The Tiger.